Oh, shit. Get feedback from the fucking show. Mm-hmm. Hey, kids. Look who's back, man. Welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Mark Bernard.
Hey.
Hi.
It's been a minute, but we've gathered together to ask the Lord's blessing, kids. We're going to talk about all the culture that fucking pops. But first, we hydrate.
All hail Cthulhu.
How are you, Mark Bernardin?
My friend, I'm good. I'm whipped. I'm exhausted. I'm shellacked.
Tell him why.
Who's making a movie, son?
Oh, I thought you were fucking like a champion stud and shit. Yeah, he's making a movie. He's fucking creatively, kids.
Absolutely.
He's got that director dick going on.
Balls deep in story.
He's got direction erection. Once you've directed, you can't go back.
It's so hard.
Tough to do anything else.
It really is. Just like living a life as a civilian. I don't know how you people do it.
Right. Mark, for those who came in late, is working on a motion picture, an anthology motion picture. Tell them about it, Mark.
It's a little picture we're calling Deepest Darkest, starring a multitude of friends and family, some from the big screen, some from like just folks we know, some who are immensely talented, some are also immensely talented. But Tiffany Smith is our star, fucking Rosario Dawson, Ernie Hudson, Raul Coley, fucking Kevin Avery, Sujata Day. Like we're bringing old and new and friends and family all to the big screen.
I heard of Kevin
Avery.
Didn't sound like Smith. You pronounced Smith wrong.
I know. And we also have a brandy new minted executive producer of Deepest Darkest, Mr. Kevin Smith.
You know me, kids. I love show business. I love when people make their art and stuff. How has it been being a director? And don't hold back. Mark said something right before we started shooting that made me laugh. How's it been?
I'm so fucking broken, man. Like we've been on set for like 5 days and most of my body doesn't work. And I want to know how one of them, what's your regimen, dude? Like, how do you train to do this and not become a sort of an ER victim? Because like my knees are fucked, my back is tight, like I'm probably catching a cold, and I've done this for 5 days. And you professionals seem to do this shit for months. I don't know how.
For me, you're always cruising on the volition of like, oh my God, my dream's coming true. So, I've found that I don't really, knock wood, get sick during production. And then when production ends, my entire system will collapse and stuff. But, I like, isn't it baffling that, at least when you're working on your shit, you'll find the energy and stuff. Like when I would make the CW shows, when I would direct those, let's be honest, I didn't make them. Like far more qualified people who made the show? Melissa. I mean, literally, like fucking Supergirl made that show. You know who made The Flash? Fucking Grant. I mean, he made that show. I was just there to be like action, cut, arbitrary and shit. Really just a fan out. But after, those are 9-day shoots. And by day fucking 6, I was like, are we still doing this shit? How many more days are left? Fuck. Could you imagine being the Russo brothers and like signing up for a year or more of your life?
Bruv. Like, or being a person who makes a James Bond movie where you're shooting on 3 continents, 4 continents for 180 days. Like, all right, we're packing up and going to Thailand. We're packing up and going to Norway. We're packing up and going to South America.
Let me ask you this. Let me posit this. I'm sure the internet will be like, "Fuck you. You suck at filmmaking." Let's just start there, and agree that I suck at filmmaking. When I go make my movies, I love them to death. You may hate them, but like, oh my God, I fucking love them, right? Like that's why they exist. So I'm cruising on the volition of passion in my thing. When you're making James Bond movie, and I ain't saying like the directors of the James Bond movies weren't passionate about the films they made, but at the end of the day, more often than not, that is a kind of work for hire gig, right? Like you're keeping the franchise going and stuff like that. And you can have a lot of love for James Bond because you grew up on it and whatnot. But unless you're like Ian Fleming or one of the Broccolis, like that's somebody else's thing you're running with. So you could make it your own. That's what a great filmmaker does, I guess. But does the director of a James Bond movie like hit the set like with the same passion, enthusiasm level as an indie filmmaker who's getting to make their first film?
I can't imagine they do on day 70.
They-
Like maybe day one. It's like, you know what, guys? We're in fucking Pinewood. Like, we built an entire village in Cambodia indoors here. Like, I'm gonna crash a plane into the side of it. Let's fucking go. And then
but also day one, they didn't schedule any of that shit. So they're shooting like James getting dressed for the
right. Flips
opening
the hat onto
yeah.
the coat rack.
Maybe there's a dialogue scene that's just like which way to the chippy shop, and they're like, this way, sir. That's it. Like a very easy, very no fucking spy shit on day one. So they're hitting the set going like, right on, man, this is pretty much just like making an indie film. And then they blow up a fucking building that he runs across and shit. I mean, all things are relative, and this much I know, having worked on very small films and somewhat larger films and stuff, but having known people that have made bigger films, doesn't matter how much time or how much money you got. It's always the same fucking problems, which Mark will attest to, and that is not enough time, not enough.
The sun is always going to do what the sun does. Like, we were shooting outdoors in a park out in Chatsworth. And we were just fighting the sun every day. It was like, all right, the sun, we're on set at 6 a.m. because we got to get up and running. So first shot is like 8 a.m. And then we have until the sun goes down. And when the sun goes down, we're done. And so there's no like, all right, well, we can push into overage. We can cut into grace. We can think about time and a half. Sun's down, man. We are out of here at 4:45. So get your day. Like, there's no room for the Kubrick. Like, all right, let's go again. Take 43 of scene 28A. Like, no, man, you get 3 shots at this and go.
How was our mutual friend?
Like, I I feel like movie sets, and you can of course can attest to this more than anything, is it's a chemistry based thing where, like, if the chemistry is good, then the days are good. It's like a wedding. Like, if the bride is happy, then everybody's happy. And like, when you have a movie star coming on your set, it's like, how's she gonna be? Like, what's the deal? What is her chemistry level? Like, is she gonna be an acid? Is she gonna be a base? Is she gonna just blend with everybody? And nobody knows until she drops on the set. And you had told me, I was like, what's it like working with Rosario Dawson? You're like, man, she is the sweetest person. She's funny as hell. She works real hard, immensely talented. And I was like, okay, I have this going in, one degree of Kevin Bacon away. And then she showed up and was everything you said she was going to be. Like, she was fucking amazing. Like, totally thrilled, totally happy, jazzed to do the work. And there's a thing that happens, and I've only ever seen it twice because I've only ever made things that have been unadulterated twice, where, like, the words you have in your head and the words that exist on the page are one thing. And then an actor gets their hands on it. And then they sort of transform it into something that you didn't even know was there. And then you're like, holy shit, like, is that what we wrote? Was that there the whole time? Because Rosario was doing some shit and Tiffany was doing some shit. And I'm like crying in my director's chair over a thing that I've read like 45 times. But then an actor just fucking sprinkles it with fairy dust and makes it come alive. And you're just like, God damn, all right, fucking take, done. It's not gonna get better than that. And then they do it again and it gets better. And it keeps getting better. It's a magic that I've only been privy to a couple of times.
And the just the joy of make pretend as well.
Yeah.
Of
You
like,
know,
oh my God, none of this is real, none of this fucking matters. It's just you stand here and say this. Now you say this. Like it's childish in the best possible way.
it's the biggest Lego set, you know, like, and I had my friend Derek, who's one of our directors on Deepest Darkest. Like, he just came up to me one day. We were sitting on the set, you know, and there's 40 people like doing their fucking thing and hanging lights and posting mics and set deck and makeup and hair and all that shit. And he just looks at me. It's like, hey man, you did this. All these people are here because you did this. And I was like, well, we did this. And it's humbling, and it's inspiring, and it's rejuvenating. And like, maybe that's the way you get to 180 days on a set, is if all of these people just continue to give it 110%, and you become inspired by them as much as by getting to do your own thing. But nothing quite like it. Nothing quite like it.
Um, what is what's what in chat? Is there a game going on right now between Canada and the US?
Isn't there some kind of Four Nations hockey tournament thing happening?
Is that happening right now?
I say this as a person who knows diddly dipshit about hockey, but I think so.
I mean, I say this as a fucking white dude. How the fuck do I not know about it?
As a white dude with Canadian leaning tendencies.
Exactly. I mean, Jesus Louise. Um, I'm so happy for you that you're making your flick, man.
Making a thing. Fucking,
There's time to sleep later on, old man.
we'll sleep on
Canada
it.
would just it just ended. Bob Perlitz says in chat, Canada won. Canada versus USA.
Good for
Gil
Canada.
Pilgrim says, "What kind of hockey fans are you guys?" Gee golly, I know. My
I
bad.
mean,
Canada just won in
also,
overtime. Hey, congratulations to our neighbors to the north.
indeed. Unabashed non-hockey fan here. So you can't blame me on nothing.
I don't want to profile and stereotype Mark, but Canadians quite good at the sport.
Understood. And
That and curling, they got a lock on, for heaven's sake. Kids, welcome to the show. So much to do, so much to talk about. I am fresh off of seeing Captain America: Brave New World. Mark saw it when?
Last Thursday, so opening night, I went.
Did you really?
I did.
I went just this afternoon, and I pretty much had the theater to myself with a father and his son, which was quite adorable, and one other guy I think was off to the other side. But I only know about the father and son because the kid wasn't loud or anything. But I've remembered as they walked past me twice, like, oh yeah, when you got a kid, you don't get to sit through an entire fucking movie because there's always like a bathroom trip or two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kid bladders are big.
But I was there for every fucking second of it, man. We're going to tell you all about it. I'm going to talk about Reacher episode 1, season 3, episode 1. Mark, what do you got to talk about?
Well, I want to hit a little bit of news. We never talked about the Fantastic Four trailer.
I saw it on the big screen today. I'm happy to talk about it. I ain't going back, man. So much to talk about, kids.
I mean, we also got to hit SNL 50. Both of us
loved it
as men of a certain
short review. Loved it, but yes, we'll go deeper as we dive into the show. Kids, we gotta do this proper. Fat Man Beyond don't happen in a vacuum, for heaven's sakes. It happens because we have amazing sponsors, people that are willing to be like, here, we believe in Fat Man Beyond, that you could carry our message. And the message that we're carrying to you today, kids, our number one sponsor of the evening. There will be 3, heads up. Did you know that when your metabolism is working properly, you will feel the benefits in literally every aspect of your life? I have found a valuable tool that gives me insights to create a healthy metabolism for my body. Kids, guess what it's called? You know it. You love it. We all do. It's Lumen.
Lumen.
Good folks at Lumen. Take the next step to improving your health. Go to Lumen, LUMEN.me/fatman, all one word, to get 20% off your Lumen. Plus, you can look at the product as we're about to sell it to you, but we ain't got to sell Lumen, man. Lumen sells itself. It's genius. That's LUMENDOTME/fatman, all one word, FATMAN, for 20% off your purchase. The good folks at Lumen are sponsoring this episode. Mark, tell them about the Lumen, man.
What is a Lumen, you ask? It's the first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device, man, that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on their app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management. And all you got to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. And then Lumen will give you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on those measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals. You know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. I mean, because your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body burns the fat you eat into fuel and keeps you going. And so Lumen gives you recommendations on how to improve your metabolic health. It can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause, ladies, and trans men, and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings.
Take the next step. What are you waiting for? Dive in, man. Take the next step to improving your health. Go to Lumen, LUMEN.me/fatman, all one word, FATMAN. You're going to get 20% off your Lumen, man. That's LUMENDOTME/fatman for 20% off your purchase, man. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this here episode of Fat Man Beyond, man. Give it up for the good folks at Lumen.
Thank you, Lumen.
Still believe in this broken ass old show. All right, kids. So much to talk about. First off, some people in chat have been like, hey, man, where's JC? JC is preoccupied.
Indeed.
Yes, he is.
It's a good thing.
I mean, if you've been paying attention to the sporadic update.
Will is sitting in for us. Will, I see you pointing your finger. You seem like you have something to add.
Yeah, nothing relevant to that. Well, other than I just want to let everyone know my apologies that you're not going to get the Fat Man Beyond you are accustomed to. Because although I have run the show out of here before, started everything off, and like suddenly my whole config was just gone. Don't know why. So there'll be hiccups. Don't scream at them in the chat. It's all my fault. That's all I want to say.
Hey, Christ, get off your cross.
All right, buddy. I can do that.
You're not here to fucking do that. You're here to say, I thought you were raising a finger because you had something to say about JC.
Well, I mean, Mark's right. If you've been paying attention, there are certain life updates that he's been advising us of. And
let's just say that, if you've been paying attention to JC recently on the show, Banff Man, and you follow his social media or you go to his amazing bar, the Scum and Villainy Cantina, right there in Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, you know what we're talking about.
And
those who know. And
you may have to see my face over the next couple shows.
That's right, man.
And his level of dedication to our experience is such that there's only a couple of reasons for which he would miss us. And this is a pretty good one.
It is. We just don't know if we're at liberty to say. But you get it.
He got that dick implant he was trying to get, and so maybe he's in Brazil.
You're making a joke, but dick implant it begins with, doesn't it? Really, at the end of the day, the way I understand it. But there are other ways in.
There are. There's around the back.
A million ways out of this room. It is so here we are, doing a show without our regular, but we wish him and his family, which is getting bigger soon because he's talked about it on this here very show.
Yes.
We wish him the best, particularly right now this evening at 8:42
Pacific.
Yeah. I just got back from Life on the Road, Mark. I was away for 2 weeks doing a tour with Jason Mewes, the Jay and Silent Bob at the Oral Sex Tour. And what a good time we had. One of the shows got canceled for weather, so we're going to be making up the show that was in Virginia, Charlottesville, yes. But the other shows were absolutely fucking wonderful. Many thanks to everyone who came out and saw us on the road. You were all absolutely lovely. There were Fat Man Beyond fans. I met them. They said they liked the show. They said they like you. They come for me, but they stay for you.
Well, I'd like them to come.
As I say, as long as you come on me, I says. Finish all over me, I says. And then they walk away awkwardly, like, he's too old to be that gross, you know. Maybe it was charming, you know, when he was the king of Gen X cinema. That was a long time ago. Anyway. What a good time I had on the road. But I want to share 2 shows coming up.
Please.
This very weekend. One of them, Will Wilkins, temporary Banff man, Scab man. No, what was our name for you? Dilf
man.
Dilf man. Quick, he fucking threw that in there.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not often I get that because before that I was having to appear making the Pillsbury Doughboy sound, and that ain't gonna play.
And he got the custom license plate that says Dilf Man, so we can't let us forget it.
That's true. Dilf man, throw up that con thing that's happening on Saturday. Right here in the Los Angeles area, kids, if you're a West Coaster and you wanted to help out, it's called Multicon. It's an event that's being thrown as a fundraiser for folks who were affected by our recent fires out here in Los Angeles. And Saturday, February 22nd, that's this Saturday, man. I'm going to be there. You got Seth Green, Dave Dismalchin, our boy, Rob Liefeld, for heaven's sakes. Robert Kirkman's going to be there. I'm going to borrow some money from him. He's the richest guy I know. Sean Gunn. Oh, my God. Bitsy Tulloch. Yeah, this is some real fucking juice here, man. Like, not just the usual Jay and Silent Bob nonsense and stuff. They got some real names at this con. You know, you got fucking Sean Gunn.
Oh yeah, where the gun was.
I mean, motherfucker's been in, like, never mind like his physical appearance in movies and shit, and that he has one of my favorite moments in a Marvel movie and shit when he reacts to the what do they call that funeral? The Ravagers funeral, and he's just like, yeah, and screaming and stuff. That was wonderful. But he's fucking Rocket Raccoon and shit.
Yeah.
And Weasel. All right, so that's happening on Saturday, kids. If you want to help out, where is it? I don't know. Does anybody know? Will?
The location of said Multicon?
Yeah, where is that happening?
Damn it. I don't know.
Well, fucking click on a thing, man. Come on.
Do I also need to have the loud keyboard?
What?
To do this job?
Oh my God, I'll do it. Just, you don't need to be on screen to do it either.
Oh, yeah, apologies.
Going great.
It's fine. You can totally be on screen. Verify I'm a human. Come on. I mean, no, I'm an entertainer and have been longer than I've not been an entertainer, so I'm barely a human anymore.
It's at the Preserve LA.
The Preserve, thank you, Mark. St. Andrew's Place, Los Angeles. Where the fuck is that? Before I start sending people there, I better find out if I know where it is. All right.
The 101 in Little Armenia.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, all right. That ain't too far. It's by the Wilton and stuff, by Van Ness. All right, kids. Yeah, it's not. I'm not sending you into the hinterlands. It's fucking Los Angeles and shit like that.
Man, Scott Gimple is there. Carrie Payton is there. Carrie Payton's a good dude. Carrie Payton is playing Black Panther in the video game that I helped write.
Seriously?
Yeah,
So you got local ties to this shit as well.
local ties to this shit, man.
It's a great cause, naturally, folks, and you know, it's a con. So if you're ever like, man, I'm interested in getting a photo with or a signature from one of these jackasses, now's the time because it all goes to a good cause. So that's on Saturday. Saturday night, I got a Babylon in Covina, but it's sold out. Thank you very much. Then I get on a plane in the morning, this Sunday, Mark. Sunday, to fly back to New Jersey, my homeland, the Garden State, man.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a show at Smodcastle Cinemas, man. It is Cop Out's 15th anniversary. But what I'm announcing here that nobody knows, Tracy Morgan's coming.
Oh,
Tracy's coming. So Sunday, 3:00. We have the screening. Tracy's going to be there, and afterwards we'll do Q&A, and it'll be a good ass time. Celebrating 15 years of Cop Out, the little movie that couldn't, is going to be the only place being celebrated on this planet. It's at Smodcastle Cinemas, man. Me, Tracy Morgan. So there are less than 100 tickets left. So if you're into that, scoop them up quick.
I do look back very fondly on Cop Out, mostly because that was the first time that we actually got to spend any real time together, you and I. Like we had lunch before then, once in New York when you were scouting for Cop Out. You're like, come on down to set, it'll be fun. And I came on down to set, and it was fun. For reasons that I don't think I expected them to be fun. But Tracy Morgan was among one of the most phenomenal people I've ever met. And watching that dude do his one-man Planet of the Apes remains a just perfect memory in my heart. Just at like 3:00 in the morning, just launching into just rote memorization of Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Like all the characters.
The Forbidden Zone was once a paradise. The whole movie, he was doing 2 other movies. One was Planet of the Apes, and the other was Frankenstein. He just rewatched it, so he kept doing Frankenstein bits.
You made a desert of it.
Yes. This is literally, for as many times as I've heard Tracy say he was going to get somebody pregnant, I've also heard him say that the Phantom Zone was once a paradise. This is gonna be lovely. I haven't seen him in years, so this is gonna be absolutely joyful, man. He's up on our wall of fame at Smodcastle Cinemas as somebody who was born in the great state of New Jersey. So he'll be hopefully signing the wall for us as well.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, what am I charging on Saturday? I don't know. I'm not charging. I think they are assigning prices to me and whatnot. So I wish I could help you out with that. But as you saw, I didn't even know where it was till a few minutes. I was like, Little Armenia, is that where we're at? Thank God it's close. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a good time on Sunday. And then Monday, I'm going to do something I can't talk about yet, but you know, it's not too far from what Mark's been up to lately.
What's that?
You follow along. If you follow.
Know what I mean?
So yes, that's so many fun things, kids. If you want to come see me on the West Coast, Saturday at Multicon. If you want to come see me on the East Coast, Sunday at Smodcastle Cinemas with Tracy Morgan. And the tickets at smodcastlecinemas.com or csmod.com. That ticket is cheap. It's cheap. I'm going to tell you right now. And the popcorn is amazing at Smodcastle Cinemas. We're always putting on a show. You ask old Bob Perlitz, he'll fucking tell you. He's in chat right now. Kim, she's listening. She'll tell you.
Hell yeah.
My home boys and girls, the people I know from Jersey. They'll vouch for me, goddamn it. Speaking of which, when are you coming back for us to do Fat Man Beyond live?
We were talking about trying to do
Mark?
it Ides of Mark again.
Mark, yeah.
I don't know if it's going to work out for like middle of March, which is now like 3 weeks away. But I was also thinking, like, is it possible or advisable or sane to try to do like could we do like a 24-hour marathon where you and I sit in a theater and watch movies for 24 hours and then live stream us just talking through these movies?
I would fucking do that in a heartbeat.
That'd be fun, right?
Sounds like a good ass time.
Yeah, just you and me, a couple mics, and a theater full of knuckleheads just watching, I don't know, maybe all of the MCU in a row. I don't know.
How does so what happens when we're watching the movies? We can't broadcast that. We can't live stream that because
We could live stream just cameras on our faces, though, right?
yeah, with no sound whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it'd be like when Shia LaBeouf would do those galaxy. We're gonna be like the new Shia, just cameras on us, and they're gonna watch us watching things we love.
You know, or we could have mics that are just we do running commentary of these movies, so people in the house can hear us talking, and we could broadcast that part, but just not movie sound, maybe. I don't know.
As Zuadem in chat says, but you're all gonna fall asleep. Oh, bet on it. But unless I'm talking, like there's a good chance I'll fall asleep. You know, we did the Mallrats screening when I was there a couple weeks ago for the Mallrats 30th anniversary at Smodcast Cinemas. We did this approach where we watched a scene, then I'd pause the movie, get up, tell a story, then start the movie again, watch the next scene, pause it, get up, tell a story. So Mallrats being like a 90-minute movie became a 3-hour experience.
See, I mean, we could do like we could do like Infinity War and then Endgame. And then do the thing where we have a thing we want to talk about, pause the movie, get up, tell a story, talk about some shit. Like that could take us like 8 hours to do those two movies if we do it that way.
Morris Valentine said, put a runtime in the corner people could follow along on stream. That's true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fucking true. Set up another theater for folks to nap in, says Laura D. You're absolutely fucking right. Laura came to one of my shows and gave me these gorgeous raincoats for the dog. She heard me say, I refer to the two German shepherds as the German consulate. So I'm like, oh, I'm going out and being escorted by the German consulate. So she made them these ponchos, rain ponchos that said like German consulate on it and has their initials. Gorgeous.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, many thanks. But Laura's right. Yeah, we can open up the theater. People just crash.
I mean, somebody in chat, who was it? Mo Murda, and Kate Van D were like, what if we just did the Batman movies that we kept threatening to do? Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Returns.
It'd be amazing. I'm down. Right? Fucking down like a clown.
Yeah.
Do that. Danced J2K2 in chat just said, isn't the ArcLight reopening? Is it? Did you hear anything?
I mean, I remember hearing like a year ago that they had applied for a liquor license. And they keep threatening to be reopening, but there is no date set for the reopening. It's been protected as a landmark, the Cinerama Dome. Naturally. So they can't turn it into something else. But I think whatever group owns that space has been very slow in turning it into an actual working movie theater again. I wish they would, because some of my favorite Hollywood memories are in that complex.
In chat, Band to the Young says, I hope we get a Smodcast of Cinemas West. That won't happen, kids. It's way too expensive out here. Like, I got lucky with, Smodcastle back east because Atlantic Highlands, while being a pricier section of New Jersey, like, me and my friends, because it wasn't all me carrying that fucking financial load, were able to buy, we didn't buy a movie theater. Well, we got a movie theater. We bought 2 buildings. And the movie theater happens to be in both of them. So you get a free business with those 2 buildings and stuff. But out here, oh my God, because I've whimsied about it. Believe me. Like, when I'm like, after I go do events at Smodcastle and then I'm back here and I'm not doing events, I'm like, man, it'd be so much cooler if I had my own movie theater. But you know what kind of fucking like first world thinking that is? Like, man, it'd be so much cooler if I had my own movie theater here as well. Like, so yeah, that's not gonna happen unless I'm left one, like in a creepy will situation where they're like, it's haunted, and if you can last the weekend, it's yours. Then I'll do it. We'll do that fucking Batman marathon in the haunted fucking movie theater.
Who will survive the Batman?
But then somebody also said, Harsh Language Podcast said he watched the 4:30 movie a few days ago for the first time. He said, excellent, but I'm sick of you making me cry. Yes, I have been leaning toward the more emotional shit lately, but I assure you, the next movie we're going to make very soon has no sentimentality to it whatsoever. It's just flat out joke, 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 joke. Kind of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And somebody in chat said, hey, do a screening of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back like that, where you pause it after each scene. Done and done. Done. You better show up. You better show up.
You son of a bitch.
That's an easily sellable fucking, the value, man. The value. You're getting like hours of entertainment if you like this shit. If you were like, I hate Kevin Smith, then it would be torture. But like, if you were like, I'm fucking down for him and his silliness, 31 years of this bullshit, I'm pot committed. Holy shit. The value at Smodcastle Cinema. I don't have to say it. Bob Perlitz, he'll tell you. Go to chat. He'll read it. Shit.
Question, though.
Fire away.
Could you do a Smodcastle tour?
A Smodcastle what?
Tour.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Great idea. Love it.
Where you just rent out a screen in other cities and you show the thing you want to show and you just dance around.
Dreamed about doing it a few times. Vidiots. I was like, ooh, we could do it there. But I asked like, hey man, what's the rental? And it's fucking very high. Los Angeles is not a cheap place.
Well, I mean, I'm like forgiving Los Angeles, but like there's another 49 states where you could totally just like rent out a house and just show a movie, right?
These other 48 states, Mark, you intrigue me. What are they? I'm coastal, don't you know? There are only two states for me: New Jersey and California. I don't know what happens. I'm a coastal elite, for Christ's sake. Yeah, believe me, I'd be down like a clown to go fucking anywhere. Like I'm like Jesus. If they gather in my name, I will be there. Like, trust me. Especially easy sells like that. Like, me and Jay just being on tour here, like we sold more merch than we've ever sold before. And it's some of it was merch that had been at the Secret Stash for years, but like not everyone goes to the Secret Stash. So we brought it with us and it fucking sold. I don't know how, I don't know why, but there's still gas in this silly ass fucking tank for Kevin Smith nonsense. So as long as anyone's like, oh my God, bring your Smodcastle to fucking Utah or to fucking New Mexico, done and done. Like a mini fest, a day long or even a weekend and shit. If you got a mom and pop theater, you know what? Reach out to Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell. He'll hook you up, man. Ernie will figure out a way to turn this into a business and be like, yeah. And he'll make all the money and I won't make shit, but at least I'll have a good time doing it.
Broken fun.
Yeah. They told me I'd get rich in the movie business, Mark. They lied. Just like they lied about everything.
Why do I keep listening?
Par for the course, because I'm a believer. All
right. Should we do a show?
Yeah. We shall do a show. I mean, you know what? Fuck you. I've been doing a show. maybe you just decided to show up, Mark. I've been Big Finish like since we started. I'm Daffy Ducking it over here. You're fucking Bugs Bunny and it all laid back and smooth and shit like that. Yeah, I'm ready to start a show. Let's give him a goddamn show.
Excellent. What should we start with?
News.
Oh
no, let's reviews. That's what everyone wants to. Wait, should we do one more ad and then review?
Ooh,
no, but yeah, then that'll give us plenty of room, man.
Just
plenty
straight.
of room to dive into our fucking thoughts on Captain America, Brave New World. Before we dive in there, my friends, just a quick word from another one of our sponsors. We're fucking so happy we ever have sponsors. Look, before we dive into this, me and Mark are going to commit to a more regular schedule for this show. Weekly. Does everybody like that? Like doing it every week? If you like it, I'm going to tell you right now, we see those hearts flying in the comments and whatnot.
Was that Carol saying you can't commit to weekly?
That was Jordan being shut the fuck up. Smash that fucking like and subscribe button. That's how you show it. You know it. That's what all the young people say whenever I watch videos. Or the old people. I watch Midas Touch and they're always like, hit like and subscribe. We're on our way to 5 million. I'm like, 5 million? What's that shit like? You and I should start talking about politics. That's how you make millions of followers, man. Sitting around talking about fucking the Red Hulk. Grow up, Mark. Nah.
Let's talk about disenfranchisement.
God, I wish I could talk about the things that people want to talk about on the internet and be hateful and shitty. I just can't. It's not in my nature.
I know.
I'm the frog. I ain't the scorpion. I'm the motherfucker who gets stung and fucking like, why? If you fucking follow that metaphor or saw that movie from a long time ago. Okay, kids. Mando's in the house, man.
Mando!
The good folks at Mando. You want to fucking follow along while I chit chat? Go to shopmando.com, shopmando.com, man. Because Mando is going to offer you a starter pack that's perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash, deodorant wipes, and free shipping, man. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code FATMAN, FATMAN, all one word, at shopmando.com, man. shopmando.com. Mando, I swear by these products. I was just on the road with Jason Mewes and I was using their deodorant wipes and stuff to freshen up between states. Sometimes you're on a 5-hour car drive. We don't fly, Mark. Who am I? Fucking Bert Kreischer? I ain't got that kind of money. Me and Jay, both of us together, we ain't a Bert Kreischer. So we drive. We drive, man. Like
fucking Fozzie Bear and Kermit the Frog.
Moving right along, get it, absolutely. And then we fight about which one's which. But I use them damn Mando products on the road. Did what my dad referred to as a whore's bath back in the day. God knows where he got that from. I think from some old movie. But I did, washed up in the sink and whatnot. But I didn't need to do that because I had Mando products. Mando's like, did you have to fucking...
We're trying to make you avoid the phrase whore's bath.
It made me think of my beloved father. So like, oh, fair enough. But Mando, can you not? Thank you.
It's a whole body deodorant, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, he, she's, and theys. Safe to use anywhere on your body: pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. Created by doctors who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. So Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours, man. They got a solid deodorant stick, which is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts, and a spray deodorant, aluminum-free and ideal for hard-to-reach places. Baking soda-free, paraben-free, variety of scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport if you're a sporty pro. It is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with just soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, man, the average man's grundle odor level is like 5 out of 10. With Mando, 0 out of 10, man. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, Walmart, Target, whatever, but best, shopmando.com. Use the code FATMAN at checkout. Come on.
The starter pack. One more time. Let me fucking inform you of the value of the starter pack. Perfect for new customers. It's going to come with a solid stick deodorant. It's going to come with cream tube deodorant. It's going to come with 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. And it's going to come with free shipping, man. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code, FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack, kids. Don't forget, use that code FATMAN at shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. We thank the good folks at Mando for still believing in two old men who have nothing new to say about pop culture.
But smell great.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, because of the Mando products. Okay, my friends.
Let's do it.
It's time we dive in, kids. The movie is Captain America, Brave New World. And this is the first Marvel movie in a theater since Deadpool Wolverine.
So it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. And prior to Deadpool Wolverine, the last one was what, Marvels or Ant-Man?
I think it was the Marvels.
They also had a bit of a stumble or two on Disney Plus with Secret Invasion.
Indeed.
So people were like, hey man, well, you know, after Deadpool Wolverine, people were like, all right, Marvel's a good place right now. They're, you know, at least that was good. So I think there's some cats looking to this, but of course there was lots of rumors of reshoots and whatnot. And
yeah, some of them aren't rumors. I mean, Marvel has always been very candid about their method, which is go off and make your movie. We've already built time for reshoots into the schedule, and they're not even reshoots. They're additional photography because they look at the movie, they say, here's what we need, go back and get it, and then we'll finish it.
yeah,
these will get more extensive.
Case in point, they added Giancarlo Esposito later. He wasn't part of the movie from the beginning. Later on, they wrote him into the movie as Sidewinder. So yeah, they kind of work on those movies all the time. Last time we saw Captain America and the Falcon, it was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And Sam Wilson, who was so damn delightful as the Falcon, became Captain America, took on the grown-up role. And so in this flick, which feels like it's about, was this had to be one of those COVID affected movies?
I think this was more a strike affected movie because Falcon Winter Soldier was the COVID affected.
You're absolutely right. It just feels like it's like not late, but like, you know, I guess late. I guess it's like this should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Here's my big thoughts. You know, it gave me here's the stuff that I enjoyed. I got to see Captain America fight the Hulk. I got to see the leader. I got to see them, like, you know, tie up loose ends from that old Hulk movie that they did the same fucking summer as Iron Man and stuff. Got to see them bring back Liv Tyler. Spoilers. I think that was way out there. You know, like, got to see, they didn't call her Sabra, but Sabra was in there. Bucky came up for a scene. There was enough comic book stuff in there that, you know, I was like, oh, right on, man. Like, fucking, I can't believe we're watching a movie where somebody's doing the leader. And, you know, he's green and his head's lumpy and he doesn't look exactly one for one like the comic, but shocked that they're even doing it, you know? So I you know, when it got to the third act and whatnot, and they were, here it comes, you're gonna see him Hulk out. Like, I was like, right on. This is satisfying as hell. I feel like you know, I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. Fucking, I could never make a movie like this, period. And if I were handed the reins of this movie, it wouldn't be as good as it is now. I assure you, 1,000%. You know, it had it felt like the TV show. Like it felt like, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like the stakes, even though they're meant to be insanely high, particularly by bringing the Celestial into it, which I also thought was kind of satisfying, where it's like, oh, it took a few years, but they're finally acknowledging the giant thing in the ocean and using it to be like adamantium. Like even that, my bar is very low, Mark. Very low. You know, the first mention of adamantium in the MCU, fucking, you know, fucking the leader. So it's tough for me because would I've enjoyed it more at home? Yeah. Like, you know, I did. I left. I went to see it in the movie theater, not my own movie theater. Paid $30. LA prices, fucking ridiculous. Bitch the whole time. Kept talking and just saying fucking to Jennifer. I was like, if I was at Smodcastle right now, this would cost me $14. But you know, it didn't like, you know, it didn't feel like Endgame crucial in terms of like, oh my God. But I was not dissatisfied. I didn't walk out going like, that was a waste of my fucking time. There was enough in it that I enjoyed, but it felt like, you know, more of a exercise in like, well, we got to tell this story before we could tell 5 other stories. So let's go. And then that got affected by strikes and test screenings and stuff like that. But totally coherent stories. Great to see Isaiah Bradley back in action, character that we know from the comics and stuff, and they brought into the show. I just don't know how to do this. Clearly I'm yeah, and I don't want to paint it like, you know, fucking I didn't like it. I was, the person I watched it with was not engaged. You know, she took a nap, but that's not, you know, but she did say on the way home, she was like, look, I love the TV show. So, you know, it's not like she's like, oh, I don't watch this shit. Like, and she said, you know, she likes Mackie a lot as fucking Captain America. So she's like, wasn't him. So, you know, maybe for her, you know, again, my bar being much lower to satisfy, you know, I was like, but yeah, but the leader was in it. And she's like, uh-huh. I was like, but fucking Tim Blake Nelson was in the Hulk movie that came out the same summer as Iron Man. So like, come on, man. Like that don't, she, you know, she's like, we could have been on episode 3 of Reacher right now. You know, that's what she said.
That is fair.
But so it's not like she's not a fan of the franchise and she's like the other flicks and whatnot, but she tuned out at a certain point. I enjoyed seeing Harrison Ford chew the scenery and stuff. You know, and I kept leaning over it. I was like that meme or that gif of the guy who's just like explaining shit. And I was like, Thunderbolt Ross, you know, that used to be William Hurt, and now it's Harrison Ford. And he's a Hulk hunter. He was going after, you know, stuff that I can get away with at home because I could pause the movie or TV show and, you know, she'll listen and stuff. I can't pause at the movie theater unless I'm at my movie theater. And I wasn't. I was in Burbank. I was by the Batman statue.
Ooh, you went up there. I
took a picture with the Batman statue. So I couldn't pause that movie and stuff, but I kept explaining, and she would be like, I'm trying to watch. And then I couldn't explain it anymore. When she went to sleep, I kind of got the impression she didn't give a shit whether I explained it. But yeah, I was not unsatisfied. I didn't walk out of there going like, well, they fucking ruined that. Like I was like, oh, I got what you did. I saw the whole story. Yeah, it was cool. And then fucking they delivered exactly what the poster said they would by the third act. And that part was the part that like, hey, I ain't never seen this in the real world or before. So woohoo. But yeah, man, it's my only, and I wouldn't even call it a regret because again, I paid and was happy to support, but like probably would have enjoyed it honestly like 25-30% more if I was just watching it at home.
Mm.
At home, it would have been like, whoo, this is fire. Why didn't I see it in the movie theater? But, having seen it in the movie theater, I think I enjoyed it, but I probably would have enjoyed it just as much, if not more, at home with the ability to pause, walk around, go to the bathroom, grab some food and shit like that. Is there a pull quote for a poster in there anywhere?
I liked it more if I didn't leave my house. Kevin Smith.
But again, I can't tell you, like, I'm so not a person for this because my bar is low. It's different than other people's. I'm looking at movies for different reasons. I'm certainly not looking at them as a filmmaker. If I was, I'd be intimidated. I think whoever made this movie, again, did better than I ever would. Like if given the same materials and the same budget, I'd have fucked it up. So through that prism, I'm like, well done. Through the prism of a MCU fan, what is this, episode 38 or whatever the fuck? Like they've been doing it for a red hot minute. I was satisfied. I walked away going fucking right on, Red Hulk. And I didn't go like I needed my money back after this is all done, or they're losing it. I'm still engaged in the narrative. And there was enough cool things in there, like I said, like paying off fucking the leader and then making him look kind of leaderish. Yeah. There's another thing in there, spoilers. Of course, all of this goes without saying spoilers. The father-daughter thing was a nice touch, and so Captain America, Brave New World, I give it.
Only one of us fell asleep.
It's Jay and chat says Kev says meh. I honestly, it's not even meh. I was engaged and was not dissatisfied. So I wouldn't even say that. It's not even, it's mid. Not even. I fucking watching the fucking Captain America fight the Red Hulk was badass, and so there's enough cool shit in there for me. How about you, Mark?
I went to go see this movie with sort of my opening night regulars, like people that I kind of, if we're gonna roll out to go see a big ass fucking popcorn movie, there's like 9 or 10 of us who will all buy tickets and we'll all go to the same showing at the same place. And so we went Thursday night at like 9 p.m. And I'm not gonna say we were excited, like we'll show up for Anthony Mackie, we'll show up for Sam Wilson, we'll show up for Marvel. We're just these people, and we've done that for, this will now be like the 7th movie in a row we've done this for, but the last 2 were like Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter, which are bad, like kind of unqualified bad, just awful movies. But we came out of those movies, and for like an hour, we just kind of like talked about it, like in the lobby, in the parking lot, on the walk through the fucking Century City Mall to get back to wherever our cars happened to be. But there was chatter, there was conversation. We got out of Brave New World, and we were all just kind of silent. Like, it's not that it was bad. It is, but it's not that. It's that it was kind of boring. Like we just were like, all right, well, sure. I guess Sam is still struggling with whether or not he should be Captain America or not. even though there was a whole show about him struggling whether or not he was going to be Captain America or not. Like, here for the Isaiah Bradley stuff. Like, that character, that story, the Captain America Red, Right, and Truth, is phenomenal. I still love that book. Um, but Marvel seems kind of unwilling to engage with that story for real. So it's always kind of on the periphery. It's always kind of like, here's a bad thing the government did to this guy once, but they're never really going to tell us that story. They're going to allude to that story. But here you had this perfect opportunity, right? Like, this is the Captain America that Sam Wilson is training with, because the other Captain America is an old ass man who wants nothing to do with being Captain America. Steve Rogers is invoked but never shown here. So Isaiah Bradley's his Cap. And spoilers, in case you didn't get this from the 19 trailers that you saw, Isaiah Bradley is framed for the murder of the president, or the attempted murder of the president, played by Han Solo. And so I'm like, okay, bet we're gonna do the story about, the antipathy of a black hero abused and just thrown away by the government, who has a legitimate beef against it, is now acting out on that thing. And Sam doesn't want to believe it. The audience won't want to believe it, but we're going to do Manchurian Candidate. We're going to do, could this person have done this thing? Do we want to believe he did, or do we not want to believe he did? And Sam Wilson will have to investigate to see who actually tried to kill the president, if he believes it's not Isaiah Bradley. But the audience knows from the very beginning that it's not Isaiah wanting to do this. And so that the thread of that story, the intimations of that story, what do you do when the power structure seems to not want you to be Captain America? They kind of wimp out on that, and it becomes a story about the leader, and a story about like Sidewinder, and a story about maybe Sabra, but maybe just the president's super shady right-hand security woman who like gets a costume but never does anything. And like, every scene that kind of went by, I just kept saying, why are we in this movie? What does this movie have to say? What is this movie trying to say? And by the time you get to Captain America versus Red Hulk, who don't have any real beef with each other per se, it's like, well, why? I don't really care who wins this fight, because they have no personal connection to each other. And when I say that like your bad guy and your good guy should be on the opposite side of an issue, feels like legitimate dramatic writing. It's not like a dogmatic thing that I'm saying. It's what you've seen in every other MCU movie for the most part, especially every other Captain America movie. Like, yes, Captain America will not want these fucking giant inside helicarriers to destroy innocent people on the street. That is not the fight of Captain America Winter Soldier. It's, do I want to kill my best friend or not? Will I sacrifice myself to save the soul of my best friend? Civil War. It's, I love Bucky, but I also love Steve Rogers, but I also love Tony Stark. And so what's the dynamic between these three people? And why are we all beating up on Tony Stark? There are personal connections at stake. There are deep, deep internal rivalries that are being dealt with. And if there is no connection between your good guy and your bad guy, and yet they're punching each other by the end, I don't know what we're doing anymore, other than it might be cool to watch Captain America fight a Red Hulk, who's a Hulk. Why? Because, I don't know, the president was going to die, and so he went to the least reputable doctor in the government's HMO to get treatment that may or may not turn him into a Red Hulk. All right, sure, I guess. Like, I'll watch Harrison Ford do almost anything. And like, I guess, sure, it's fun, but why are we here? And why is this movie a necessary movie to tell? Because you could jump straight to Thunderbolts, and I could not have seen this movie and not have cared. Like, I didn't have any lingering questions really from Incredible Hulk 14 years ago. I didn't really have any lingering questions out of the Eternals. Besides, like, I guess there's half Celestial, but Marvel didn't seem to care. But okay, sure, we'll say the word adamantium and then never pay it off at all until a like mid-credit scene where it's like, there are others coming. I'm like, motherfucker, if you don't literally just say Wolverine, I don't know. You can't just do that. Come on, man. And Senator fucking James Buchanan,
When did that happen?
apparently when they needed to get fucking like Oh, we don't have enough MCU in this movie. Can we get Sebastian Stan for like a day?
Great, but why is he a senator? When did that happen?
When did we conveniently forget that he's killed hundreds of people for the last 50 years and was a Soviet agent and was brainwashed and was
Yes,
and was
yes.
X-Files
Yeah.
ready for Congress?
And also, like, isn't he? I saw him in the Thunderbolts trailer. He didn't look like a congressman there.
No, seems like that would be a weird choice for a campaign trail to suddenly become a a vigilante hero working for another weird person in the government played by, Elaine Bennis. Like it's all just weird. It's all just weird. And like, yes, it's clear that the asterisk on the title for Thunderbolts means that they're just now going to call them the Avengers because this is the team apparently that Sam Wilson is going to put together at the president's behest, who's now not the president anymore, or is he? Was there a vice president ever? Who's running America at this?
I was wondering, like when at the end of the movie, I was like, well, wait, who's the vice president? They didn't never show the vice president.
Yeah, just this. They let this guy just keep doing this thing. I'm like, all right, he's breaking tables in half, but that seems fair.
Here, in my head canon,
Mm.
since Kevin Smith does exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, thanks to Stan Lee and Captain Marvel, I'm the vice president.
Fuck yeah,
So now Kevin Smith is the president and shit.
president of America in the MCU.
You know who my doctor's gonna be?
Hmm.
Not fucking the leader, I'll tell you that much. I ain't taking anything he tries to put in my mouth. Speaking of which, his head looked like a ball sack, didn't it?
It quite a bit, quite a bit.
Shaved scrotum. Just shaved all just nut sack on top of his fucking head.
I mean, like,
Joyce?
I can't say I hated this movie because it's not
Right. You can't. I
hate.
100%. 100%.
It's just it never once really captivated me. It just was like stuff happening. It's like I like Mackie and Mackie's cool, and I like Danny Ramirez actually quite a bit as Falcon. Like he's fun. Um, but like every scene, and the movie didn't even trust these scenes either, because there'd be a scene that told you exactly what was happening in it, and then Sam Wilson would recap the scene you just watched, like as if maybe you fell asleep in the movie theater and like just woke up. So what did I miss? Well, it turns out the Sidewinder might have been working for the leader who was working to steal the adamantium on behalf of the American government in order to somehow maneuver Japan into a shooting war. Why? Why does the leader want any of this to happen? Unclear. Moving on. Like, oh, okay. Oh, sure. The movie, just a lot of me shrugging. Like, I mean, sure, we can do that. I guess we can fly over the Celestial Island Treaty, which, because we needed a new Sokovian Accords, so now we have a new treaty that America's getting into that will somehow involve regulating superheroic materials. Sure, okay, I guess. Why not? Why not? That's how I felt about most of the movies. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, you could do that.
It was Morris Valentine in chat says, I feel like nothing in Brave New World is going to substantially inform anything going forward.
Yeah. I mean, Thunderbolts seems to be the thing that's the end of this particular phase of the MCU. Both Thunderbolts and Daredevil Born Again are like the end of, I guess, phase 5 or phase 6. I don't even know what phase we're in. And then we're into Doomsday. Then we're into Fantastic Four. Then we're into the next version of it. The multiversal era seems to be over. And like with a bit of a whimper, I think. I mean, I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts because it looks like it's going to be fun, and I'm here for fun. But just like, all right, okay. How did who pointed it out in chat? I'd like a special Marvel presentation about all the failed attempts to mine the element that's more indestructible than vibranium. Like, yeah, how did they get a chunk of this thing that they've never encountered before off of the celestial body enough to put it into a canister and drive it all over DC to be stolen by, I guess, the leader, or I guess the Serpent Society or Sidewinder for reasons. Okay, sure. This is a movie that existed for reasons, and I don't know if that's a good enough reason for a movie to exist. all of that is to say, like, it's done pretty well. The VFX don't
It
look
did
bad.
well, right? Like it made
I mean,
some.
$100 million opening weekend, which is an incredibly strong performance. Cinema score was a little low, like B minus, which for cinema score is like a D plus, but even still, like it's a hit by any qualified measure. Um, will there be a Captain America 5? I don't know. If there was going to be already, there probably will be going forward. Will it be starring Anthony Mackie? I don't know. People seem to like him. The go woke, go broke industry seems to have fallen a bit because, like, yeah, Black Captain America made $100 million. It means a lot of people went to go see it. But I also believe to my soul of souls that Chris Evans will be back as Captain America at some point. Because that seems to be what Secret Wars is all about. And so
Shad Kanyak in chat says they needed to explain how France and Japan were somehow a threat. Is Marvel afraid to hurt China and Russia's fragile egos? Yeah, what was that about? Like,
yeah, like France is flexing.
it's a choice.
Is how dare you take all of the vibranium? We're taking it back ourselves. Okay.
It was yeah. A lot of people are like, why was it made? Or it just didn't scream to be made. I mean, again, my bar is low. It was, you make movies at this end of the pool, they make movies primarily to make money, and that's what the movie did.
That's what the movie did. I mean,
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. I mean, we'll see what week 2 is. Opening weekend for a movie is largely a marketing win, and they spent as much money marketing this movie as any movie ever. And so, like, yeah, they got the word out. They showed a lot of Red Hulk. People showed up and wanted to see what that was about. Week 2 is the word of mouth weekend. Did people like it? Did they tell their friends to go see it? And, Ant-Man Quantumania opened well and then dropped off a cliff because people started telling their friends, oh man, do not go see that movie. We'll see. If enough people liked it and it holds decently in the second weekend, it's a hit. But we'll see come next Monday exactly how many people stuck it
out. I saw a flick that I really enjoyed last week or 2 weeks ago. I guess it was before. Yeah, no, last week, Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, when Mark, I don't know if you know this or not, but me and Jay popped up in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
I saw you. I was very excited.
On Super Bowl Sunday, we were mid-tour. We didn't have a tour date that night, so I went back to Smodcastle Cinemas because we were back east, and we had another Wicked sing-along, which was just joyous. You have, if you're wondering where your heart is, kids, just go to a Wicked sing-along. Like, sit in the back and listen to a bunch of kids screech at the top of their lungs, knowing all the lyrics. There's one little kid, one little boy, he got best costume. He was dressed like Elphaba. But he also won, like, winner of the night. He won the night because he was like literally standing on his chair, not just singing out the song, but acting out all the parts and shit. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing and stuff. So I went back and did that. And then after that night, my friend Josh Petrino had a birthday screening that day earlier of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But then at night, we all watched Companion.
Ooh.
Wonderful movie. Twisty, turny. When you're like, oh, I know what it is. It flips, does other things. Really, really good. I enjoy the fuck out of that. I don't know if it's still in theaters. I think it is. I think it's still.
He's doing well enough. It's still.
Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid, just good fucking shit, man. Like, I had a good ass time watching that movie.
Awesome.
Can't recommend it enough. Also saw the first episode of the Reacher season 3 that Amazon dropped, and they start strong right off the bat. They started so strong in the beginning. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then about halfway through the episode, I was like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, I kept waiting. I'm now halfway through it. I'm at the point halfway through the episode where they give you the titles.
Right. Yes. I love that. I love that they waited that deep to be like, Preacher.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's go back real quick to Captain America.
Mm.
Did you get the Marvel logo at the beginning of your movie?
We did not. No.
Neither did I. And it just started with like Marvel Studios, like words on the screen in black and white. And then like it was very unceremonious opening to the movie.
Mm.
And like his first appearance like was just him as a guy.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was weird. I felt like, oh, there's a, this is the cold opening and something's about to happen, but no. And then the end credits also felt like, man, like, did you guys spend all the money? Like,
You had
somebody in chat said Anthony Mackie deserved better, and that's actually, I would not disagree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also one of those things, and I credit Marvel for a lot. And one of the things I credit them for is realizing that the Hulk is a great supporting character, but not his own lead. Now, granted, some of that is contractual, that they can't actually make another Hulk movie because Universal still has their claws in it. And so they don't have it free and clear. But utilizing him as a supporting character has made all the difference. Like Mark Ruffalo as the straight man to Thor is a great fucking idea. I wonder if it is just that Sam Wilson, like Mackie deserves better, but also is Sam Wilson better as a supporting character and not as a lead? I don't know.
You may not be wrong. No, like some, like when you're not the lead, you get to shine and steal the spotlight.
Yeah.
When you're the lead, you've got to be the lead. And, sometimes if you're fucking Robert Downey Jr. and you're like, well, I'm the lead myself, you get to inform the character. It didn't seem like they let him do much with his character.
No, it's like because Sam Wilson was always the worldly one compared to Cap, who was a little bit stick in the mud, who didn't know shit about shit because he's fucking man frozen from ice. And so that contrast was super, super nice. And he could be funny and he could be charming and he could be somewhat more realistic. And Cap was always idealistic, which was a really good sort of compliment to each other. And then you get rid of the man frozen in ice, and now Sam Wilson becomes the lead. And so the other guy has to be something else. And so they've turned Daniel Ramirez into like just the quit monster. Just everything is kind of light and airy and everything is fodder for a joke. When you still want to have Sam Wilson is also a little bit funny and also a little bit, yeah. It didn't quite hold. The chemistry's off. The dynamics aren't quite right. So yeah, I think Mackie deserves better, but I think that maybe it's just this character can't quite support that weight. And was never designed to. So I don't know. Curious.
Brian Christian chat says someone make a good point about how the Marvel movies lately are mostly team up movies. Thor 3 was Thor and Hulk. The Marvels was Ms. Marvel, Cap Marvel, and Spectre. Doctor Strange 2 was Strange and Wanda, etc. It's true.
Yeah.
Like, because now that they have an Avengers world, they can't like not have super friends pop in and stuff, right? Because
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine is the apotheosis of the team up. It's right there with the title.
So true.
All
right.
Yes.
And did you see anything that you would like to review?
The thing that I'm currently somewhat obsessed with is Paradise on Hulu. Have you seen any of this?
I have. Talk about a fucking like, what in episode 1 where you're, yes, it's kids. You don't want to say much about it.
No.
Because you want them to have the experience themselves. But Paradise is absolutely worth your time. Wonderful performances. They got great actors in this.
Sterling K. Brown never did in a bad performance.
Wonderful actor. What was her name? Juliana Nicholson.
Yeah, Julian Nicholson is great. James Marsden
James
continues to
Marsden.
be like the
Yeah.
most valuable player in almost everything he's
James
in.
Marsden and Jason Ritter should play brothers in something.
Ooh, nice.
I've been watching Matlock and I've been watching Paradise, and I'm between the two. I was like, these guys could be brothers. Paradise, you're absolutely right. Is so fucking worth a watch, kids. I wish we could say more. Just go watch it.
Yeah, like it's super compelling. I am not entirely sure it's good, but I can't stop watching it.
They are unfurling it nicely in a
Yes.
way that makes you want to continue. Like,
Oh yeah, like, and they continue to just fucking throw shit at you. The minute you think you know what's going on, here's a new fucking thing. They're just turning cards like nobody's business, and it's coming so fast you almost don't have time to wonder if it's making sense, and then you don't care because you're enjoying what you're watching. So yeah, Paradise. Give it a
check
go.
out Paradise, kids. I've been watching a show that's fucking. It's old and it's from the History Channel, but I think they just did a new season recently, and that's why it popped up. And then I binged everything else. The Food That Built America.
Yes,
Isn't it fucking fantastic?
riveting.
Like unbelievable. This is all me and Jen been doing for the last few days. Is just like his name is Milton Hershey. And he will change candy in America forever. Like it is inspiring and entertaining, and also it speaks to shit that matters to me. Do you do the same thing where there's so many stories that are like, it is the end of World War II and returning doughboys have built a taste for X, Y, and Z. So lots of shit was built in the 50s and 60s. But man, when they finally get to the 70s on anything, I'm like, whoa, I'm in the game now, son. I was buying these well, mom and dad were. I was eating this shit at that point.
Yeah, it's like
Show.
it's so great because it's the first parts of it, like the 40s, 50s, are all chemistry experiments. It's
Yes.
all like, can we create shelf-stable peanut butter? Can we figure out how to pasteurize milk in such a way that X? Can we figure out how to make cheese that you can individually?
That's what I'm saying. Like fucking JL Kraft is like, what if we just sliced off pieces and put it in a jar? And people are like, it will change how the world views cheese forever. And they're right. It's fucking worth watching, kids. It is, well, they've got Campbell Scott is your voiceover.
Is that him?
Campbell Scott.
Could not have had a better name for the dude as the voice for the food that changed America.
He makes every one of them, his name is Ray Kroc. And suddenly you're like, oh shit. Like, excellent narrator. Well produced, informative as fuck. Adam Richman,
Yeah.
Fantastic go-to guy, entertaining and also very informative. The recreations are wonderful.
Every now and again, like the RZA is a talking head.
He's the RZA in a bunch of episodes. But the shout out to the graphics department who use the product logos to identify like where we are in the world. Like the Campbell Soup one, I felt a lot of fucking pride because it's a New Jersey story. It's a Camden, New Jersey story. And every time they kept cutting back to Camden, New Jersey, and it was in the Campbell's font, man, I was like,
I mean, it's what I want from a documentary, which is either tell me some new shit about something that I already know very well, or take me into a new world that's super fucking interesting. And so if you're gonna tell me how like Taco Bell started because a guy's last name was Bell, and it's not just because it was like ringing the dinner bell, I was like, oh, there's a Glenn Bell who likes tacos.
never mind that. Dunkin' Donuts wasn't always Dunkin' Donuts. It began life as Open Kettle. And people were like, that's scary. You could get burned in an open kettle. And so the guy who owned the place is like, we got to change the name. And he turns to the staff and he's just like, give me a name. And people are like, I don't know, Donut Den. And he's like, eh. He goes, what do people do with these donuts? And he goes, I've been seeing a lot of people dunk them. And so the guy's like, Dunkin', and fucking we're off to the races. It is spellbinding and it gives you a lot of like fucking national pride. Like, it's a history lesson, to say the very least, on how America was built. But, you know, you're watching American entrepreneur after American entrepreneur, and most of those American entrepreneurs, just want to point out, not to take things in any political direction, but none of them fucking came from here. All the food we fucking eat was brought from some fucking place else and was like worked hard by some fucking hardworking immigrant to turn it from one thing into another. Every fucking story. It's not like, you know, he was from here and fucking he was born of the land. It's, you know, they're all immigrants. And granted, a lot of the immigrants are from Europe and shit, but like honestly, it's inspiring because you're watching these fucking disparate people come together and build the country that we grew up in. And a lot of it happened because people have to fucking eat. And a lot of that shit happened in America. Why the tastes were built the way they are, why you and I eat the foods we eat, is because like overseas, when they were fighting a fucking war, Hershey threw chocolate into a rations kit. And so, you know, fucking after 2 years of almost getting killed by fucking Nazis in trenches, you know, fucking across Europe, far from fucking home and shit, and popping a Hershey bar in your mouth, and that's the only fucking comfort and joy you're getting. Guess what happened when they came home, man? They wanted fucking Hershey like crazy.
Same thing with peanut butter and jelly, right? Like shelf-stable peanut butter and the sugar of jelly that you don't have to refrigerate either becomes the staple of GI meals because they never went bad. And all those guys fucking ate peanut butter and jelly and then came back home and was like, you know what I want? Peanut butter and jelly and fucking Hershey's chocolate.
It's the same story all over and over again. The story of innovation that comes from like, hey, this works. You know, every once in a while, there's like, this motherfucker wasn't even a foodie. He just liked business, you know, and he fucking came up with the better mousetrap. Like the guy who invents fucking Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
He's working for like, you know, another pop company, like not Pop Secret, but something else, Minute Pop or whatever the fuck. And he's like, oh, I invented a new handle that'll make things easier. And they're like, nah, fuck that. So the guy goes, fuck you. And he quits. He raises a little money and he fucking does the thing that he invented. And then it turns into a fortune and he sells it for like $5 million in the fucking 60s or whatever the fuck. And then he invents 2 other businesses where you're like, he did that too. Like it was just this crazy time of innovation, man. And a lot of that innovation stuck and shaped who we are as individuals. The problem, the danger of this show is that you probably see it in my face. It'll shape you because as you're watching every show, you're like, I want to eat that now.
Yeah.
Like I ain't fucked with Coca-Cola and I can't tell you how fucking long, dude. But after watching the Coca-Cola episode, I went and got me a fucking like Mexican Coke with the real sugar in it and shit like that in a bottle. Just like they kept showing, like in the olden times, the motherfuckers like popping open. Even this story was fucking spellbinding. The guy from Coke was like, how do we sell more fucking Coke? And the automobile is starting to take off. And so the guy is filling up his car at a gas station and he's like, you know, it'd be fucking all right here. Like a nice cold fucking Coke and shit. So they make 1,000 fucking Coke coolers that you put ice in and Cokes in with the bottle opener on, the same that you buy on fucking Facebook Marketplace now for like $1,000. And they put them at every goddamn gas station as America grew. And Coca-Cola became synonymous with the American experience because it was there for you. You're driving, you know, think about it. They didn't have an air conditioning in those cars back then. You're driving, you know, fucking for distances and hot weather or whatever the fuck, and you pull over to get gas. This created the modern day convenience store in as much as like Coke was like, let's start selling soda at gas stations. Gas stations didn't do that. And now that's like hand in hand. So many things, like how coffee and donuts wasn't a thing until Dunkin' was like, let's sell them together. You know, oh my God. I didn't even know. I thought Krispy Kreme happened in the 90s. That's how ignorant I am. Apparently, I mean, that's when I first became aware of it. But apparently it's been happening since like the fucking aught 12s or whatever the fuck. in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which it only happened there because the brothers that started it were like, I read it on a pack of cigarettes. So we went there to start our donut company. This show is fucking phenomenal. If they haven't won Emmys, they deserve all the Emmys, man. It has been so good. Trust me, kids, the food that built America, worth your time.
It's a hole you will deliciously fall into and claw your way out with an extra few pounds because you're like, is there an Arby's near me? Huh.
It will have you hankering for food that you're like, I ain't fucked with that in a dog's age. Like, because I'm vegan, there's some shit I didn't eat. But like, you know, everything they were putting up, I was like, oh, I remember what that tasted like. Oh, I remember what that tasted like. Just dopey shit like, you know, SpaghettiOs. How SpaghettiOs were like the brilliance of SpaghettiOs, something that we came into a world of SpaghettiOs and shit. But like when they were first introduced, they were like, you know, nobody fed pasta to children. It was too fucking messy and children couldn't handle it, particularly babies. But SpaghettiOs is a round pasta noodle that can contain itself on a spoon. So babies, children, anybody could fucking eat it, man. And it was the round shape that, you know, there had been noodles like fusilli noodles and noodles, you know, like fucking ziti noodles that were, you know, round or had a hole in the middle and shit. But it was the guy cleaning off the grinder and shit. And fucking one of the rings came off and he was like, a circle. That's how you get to fucking, you know, SpaghettiOs. Oh my God. Cheerios. That story was fascinating. It's worth your watch, kids.
Yeah.
We can't say enough good things about it.
And also the fact that like there was a time in America where Italian food was exotic and they didn't know if it could translate to the rest of America. And they're like, listen, but can we spell Boyardee in a way that is less Italian? Because we're not sure.
They literally did. They changed it to Boyardee.
Yeah.
The Pizza Wars show was illuminating too, because like you realize, like, what? Domino's and Pizza Hut are the reason that America eats pizza.
Yeah.
Like that's most Americans' first introduction to pizza was not at a pizzeria. Like we grew up on the East Coast and shit. So, you know,
where there were actual Italians.
Yeah, throw a rock, you're gonna hit a pizzeria and shit. But like fucking most places that ain't New York at the time or wherever the fuck, you know, maybe pizzeria isn't a thing that's as readily available. So in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, man, for a lot of motherfuckers, Pizza Hut was the first pizza they ever had. And Pizza Hut pizza is different because Americans like their fucking Italian much sweeter than apparently Italians like their Italian. That was a running theme. Like they got Italian chefs and they got the American fucking, you know, corporate owner tasting it. And he's just like, needs more sugar. And the fucking Italian chef's like, what are you, nuts? But it's like, that's the American palate, man. Is like, you could take Italy to America, but America is going to make it their own. Oh, it's so fucking worth watching, kids. Maybe it's we're middle-aged old men and these are the foods we grew up on, but fuck, it's well-made documentary program.
It really is. And it is somewhat telling that we've spent more time talking about the food that shaped America than we did Captain America, Brave New World.
I was hoping that that others might not notice that. But
slide that by.
To be fair, they have way more episodes of this.
They really do.
You're going in many different directions. It's its own Marvel universe, that whole thing.
When they start connecting.
Oh God. But yes, when it's just like, oh shit, I watched the whole Hershey episode, but now he's with Reese. Oh shit. And they're all enemies. They all hated each other, you know, like they all fucking existed to run each other out of business and shit like that.
It's great. Like never mind. I won't, because we can just talk about individual episodes themselves.
Yes. Well, it's the American junk food version of Anakin Skywalker meet Obi-Wan Kenobi, like over and over and over again.
Reese's meet Jiffy.
Yeah.
What?
You two will hate each other. So many stories have like the two rivals. One of them is just like, we'd like to buy you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dunkin' Donuts tried to buy fucking Krispy Kreme, like way back in the day and shit. Oh, fascinating. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway. Should we do some news? Should we talk about SNL? Should we?
Yes. Let's do some news. We shall dive into some news.
All right, quickie. We'll hit some newsy news. Um, Marvel, coming off of the discussion of Captain America: Brave New World, is beginning to slow down their live action TV development. In that they've paused work on 3 projects that they had been sort of chasing for the last few years: Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. were 3 live action projects that they've been trying to pull together. Um, the reason why, well, they're trying to figure out honestly how to do TV kind of the right way. Um, they had been trying to make TV the way they make movies, which turned out to have some varying degrees of success. For every WandaVision and Loki, you ran into a Daredevil that needed like 3 or 4 takes to get that right, or a Secret Invasion, which never quite gelled into a thing that people dug. It was a little bit scattershot, and so they kind of decided that, hey, you know what? Rather than force TV to the movie whole, let's actually make TV. Let's hire showrunners. Let's do a development process. Let's let the script sort of lead the way. And so Nova was a big priority for them. I think they kind of wanted it to be a little bit of their cop show. So it was, and in case you're not familiar with Nova, character created by Marv Wolfman and John Romita Sr., cosmic powered hero and last survivor of the intergalactic military and police force known as the Nova Corps. He wields the Nova Force to protect the universe. Ed Bernero from Criminal Minds had been hired as the writer and showrunner for the series. They've pulled that out of active development. Strange Academy, based on the book by Scotty Young and artist Humberto Ramos, was sort of about a school founded by Doctor Strange to educate young wizards. It was kind of going to be a Benedict Wong show as the sort of headmaster of said school, playing Wong from the Doctor Strange movies. And then there was Terror Inc., which was the thing that I know the least about, but seems to be about an anti-hero who goes by the name of Terror, created by Dan Chichester, Margaret Clark, and Klaus Janson in 1988, before reintroduced in 1992. Seemed to just be about a guy who possessed the ability to incorporate the body parts of others into his own, gaining their abilities and memories, which seems super crimson. But I guess that those 3 things never quite gelled in a way that Marvel was happy with. So they've sort of paused development on those, which I'm not sure what that means for Marvel TV, live action specifically. They have Daredevil Born Again coming up in March, in a couple of weeks. Ironheart is coming in June. Wonder Man is coming in December. And I think that is kind of all that they have on the runway in terms of live action TV. And so they don't seem to be in a rush to chase it the way they were when Disney Plus first started.
You know what I'm in a rush to chase?
Tell me.
That Sunday weekend fucking dollar, kids. Come out to Smog Castle Cinemas for the 15th anniversary of Cop Out. 15 years, man. Tracy Morgan will be there. Me and Tracy Morgan on stage at Smog Castle Cinemas, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. Tickets at csmod.com or at smogcastlecinemas.com.
I'm trying to figure out why chat has so many chickens in it.
I don't know, but I saw we had a flood of people come in, so I was like, ooh, I should sell some tickets.
There you go.
Also, Saturday, if you're in Los Angeles, kids, new viewers, Multicon. Will Wilkins, throw up that graphic. Multicon, man. It's a benefit for the good folks who've lost so much during the LA fires and whatnot. You can get tickets for that also at cspod.com. Oh, and there's the poster for Cop Out that was just up there too. That's this weekend.
Amazing. Go see.
In chat, as is 06 says, did I miss the Captain America talk? Yeah, we did. We talked about Captain America for a while.
And then we didn't.
Until we stopped.
All
right, what else we got news-wise?
We got Netflix is planning to make a live-action Dungeons and Dragons series. Not so hot on the heels after the movie Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. But they've been trying to make this go for a bit of a while. I mean, Hasbro made a deal with E1 back in 2021 to make a Dungeons and Dragons TV show. Netflix always seemed like the logical home for it. Kind of fell apart. Except now, what has happened is Sean Levy has joined as executive producer. Sean Levy of Stranger Things and Dungeons and I'm sorry, Deadpool Wolverine, and his involvement seems to have kind of lit a fire under it. So, if you like Dungeons and Dragons and if you like watching television, it seems as if maybe your dreams are going to come true. The thing that I'm super excited about is that it seems as if we're going to get more Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I've seen that. She's been out there kind of talking about it, Sarah, going like,
Yeah.
there might be a thing. She's very happy. She's been like, working on it for a while, wants to get it right and whatnot.
Yeah.
She loves that fan base and whatnot. And
And the
she's
fan base loves her. And so it
got a
seems as if,
complicated relationship with the material, but now she's making it work for her.
yeah,
I'm happy for her, man. I think that's awesome.
I think it's great. I mean, I think there are generations of people for whom Buffy the Vampire Slayer is seminal in terms of their development. Both people who watched it first run, people who came to it much later, people who came to it even later than that, or people who exposed their kids to it. Um, and so the fact that there's a follow-up series that Sarah Michelle Gellar is expected to star in as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's nearing a pilot order from Hulu. Chloe Zhao, the Oscar winner of Nomadland, the director of The Eternals, is set to direct the pilot. And Nora and Leela Zuckerman, who were show running Poker Face, are writing the pilot. And so, like, listen, I am here for A, more Buffy, B, more Sarah Michelle Gellar, C, this team of women who are just shepherding this new version of it. More Buffy, the better. So, super excited about that. And let's see. Finally, James Bond. You love him. I love him. The world seems to love the
We
James
were
Bond.
talking about him before.
We were just. Amazon bought MGM a little while ago for a number of $1 billion, somewhere around $4 billion. But what they really wanted was an international distribution arm. They wanted their own studio. Amazon now has a movie studio, one of the oldest in Hollywood. But they also really, really wanted fucking James Bond. But the Broccoli family, headed up by Barbara Broccoli, was always holding the reins of James Bond. They've been the stewards of the franchise for 60 some odd years. But Amazon just paid them $1 billion, apparently, to get creative control over James Bond. And so the Amazon era of 007 is about to begin. And it is probably going to be a fast-moving project.
So is that it for the MGM? Well, I guess MGM is part of Amazon.
It is, but it's more like that's kind of it for Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, in terms of them having the fingers on the scales of what happens with James Bond. And there had always been a number of sort of caveats. Bonds needed to follow certain formulas. They needed to have certain elements. And they were always very picky and to good effect. Like they always pick the new Bond. They always pick the new filmmakers, the new writers, the new directors. And they were in no rush to follow Daniel Craig with anybody. Hence the 7 years since a James Bond movie. But it turns out the price for Bond is $1 billion, and Amazon was happy to pay it. So, what could happen now? There is 100% going to be a James Bond related TV show at some point, I'm sure, because Amazon is going to exploit these rights like nobody's business. Why wouldn't you?
Will it? I mean, I'm asking you as if you know, but I guess they could run a movie series and a TV series with two separate casts if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the 00 section in which you have at least 9 agents going at once. There's Bond Academy. There's whatever, the female Bond. They tried to do a spinoff with Jinx, played by Halle Berry back in the day, but there's there's villain shows. If you wanted to just do a fucking Blofeld show, you could do a Blofeld show. Um, it's sort of an open field now, given that the controls, the throttles that had been on it, are no longer. So it's a brave new world for James Bond. And if you're a fan, you're going to get a lot more of it, and we'll see if more equals better.
I gotta, I'm about as interested in James Bond I'm a little more interested in James Bond than I am Lord of the Rings. They've got two franchises that don't really do much for me, but they certainly attract everybody else and whatnot.
Indeed.
What else we got?
One last little bit, and if James Bond does not interest you, I'm curious to see if this pokes the needle at all. I don't think it will. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated show that premiered on Nickelodeon, that spun off to Korra.
They did a live action version.
They did a live action for Netflix, second season of which is on the way. But the animated sort of mothership continues to hum along, and there is a new series coming called Avatar: Seven Havens, which is a 2-day animated series, much like Avatar: The Last Airbender was, created from the original guys, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. They see no reason to let this IP lie dormant because they love it deeply, and there's a fan base that loves it deeply. So if you're one of those people, you're getting more Avatar World. No blue kittens, no underwater, no fire and ash, just kids with superpowers, kids with magic, kids who do kung fu. And fuck yeah, I'll watch more of that. I loved Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So if you're like me, more is coming. But if you're like Kev, whatever.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, but
you're not that guy. I know. I mean, I think it's somewhat of a generational thing. Like if I was like 7 when Avatar came out, it would be my Star Wars, I think. Because it is built for a kid audience who wants to feel special. And there's magic, and there's silliness, and there's giant fucking teddy bears, and there's all good things. Friendship, love, punching.
I don't, it's getting sometimes you're in a watch mode, sometimes you're in a maker mode. I've been in a deep making mode. I got a bunch of comics coming out this year.
For you.
I did a crossover with my comics and some other famous comics that they're going to announce next month, which was a lot of fucking fun. And I'm starting to see art from. That's what I love about comic books, working on. I mean, I love comic books, period. I love comic book storytelling. But when making comics, I love, like, you write a script and then fucking for the next month or 2-3 months, you're seeing pages, covers come back and stuff. I saw a fantastic cover for our Shannon Doherty tribute issue, Mallrats tribute issue, Quick Stops. Volume 3 comes out like second half of the year and stuff. And there's a Shannon issue, like there's a Alan Rickman memoriam issue, a Dogma storyline. There's a Rick Darris issue, and then there is a Chasing Amy issue, which is just the comic that Holden gave Alyssa in the movie, like we did the whole fucking book. So I got those. I got this crossover thing. I did work for one of the big 2, and there might be some more of that coming. Yeah, it's been fun, and there's so there's that, and we're gonna have some Dogma news very soon, like crazy soon, and it's wild. This will be a fun year. And then we have other Jay and Silent Bob news as well. So I'm gonna be making things this year. Apologies for the toilet paper and the nose blowing and the coughing. I still won't admit to the fact that I have a cold. I keep saying, like, it's dusty in here, but I think
it's pollen.
Yes, I think I've been fighting a cold for the last like 3 fucking days.
Yeah.
So yeah, my bad. But yeah, it's gonna be a busy year. Lots of stuff to fucking make. But kids, said before, I'm gonna say it again. 2 ways to see me this weekend. Saturday in Los Angeles at what is it called again? Something
Multicon.
Multicon. What a great name. That's in Los Angeles on Saturday afternoon. And then I'll be in Covina Saturday night for Hollywood Babylon, sold out show. Thank you. Thank you for selling out our shows on the road, the Jay and Silent Bob shows. And then Sunday, 3:00 in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, man. We're going to be watching the 15th anniversary screening of Cop Out with Mr. Tracy Morgan. We're all going to get pregnant. All of us. Tracy has anything to say about it, kids. It's going to be a good time, man. I haven't seen Cop Out in a long time. So I'm actually going to kick back and enjoy it with the audience and whatnot. Tickets at csmod.com or smodcastlecinemas.com. It's always a good time at the Smodcastle Cinemas events, kids.
Amaze.
You ask old Bob Perlitz, he'll tell you. He's in charge. He'll vouch for it, man. I saw the whatchamacallit, How to Train Your Dragon trailer on the big screen today.
How'd it hold up?
You know, it's pretty wonderful. Like, I'm glad that they made the dragon look like the dragon. Like, I'm glad they weren't like, you know, this is the real world, man. This is what a dragon would really look like. It's like, just same thing with Stitch, you know, like I like what Stitch looks like. I'm like, fucking A. He looks like Stitch, man. Don't give me like, this is what Stitch would look like in the real world. It's like, no, just give me a 3D cartoon.
Yeah, there are the 2 ways to go. There's like the Transformers way. They're like, this is what it would be like for reals. And you're like, but I just want the Optimus Prime that looks like a truck with legs. I don't need all the gears. Or just give me Stitch.
Chrono said, wait, did we miss the Fantastic Four trailer talk? No, we can have it right now.
We can have it right now. We can have it after our final ad.
What should we do? I froze up. I was like, what should we do?
Should we do last ad and then we'll hit Fantastic Four and SNL?
Yeah, and then that makes sense. Yes, kids, we got another sponsor tonight, and it's a new sponsor, my friends. I wish we had new sponsor music to play for you. Like, we welcome to the chat. Joining the chat, man, is our good friends at VIA. VIA. Enhance your everyday. This is our first work with the good folks at VIA, man. Let's be real, 2025 has been all about change. Whether it's work, personal stuff, or just the daily grind, it can be so hard to keep up. But here's the deal. When things get hectic, we don't have to go through it alone. Embrace the power of nature and elevate your everyday with VIA. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, VIA is the Swiss Army knife of wellness, dedicated to harnessing the natural benefits of hemp to create high-quality wellness products. Whether you're looking to improve your sleep, your focus, recovery, add a little pep to your step, or just get high, VIA has something for you. With products ranging from 0 to 100 milligrams of THC, VIA gives you the power to blaze your own trail, man. It's well-known, well-renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, THCA flower, soothing topicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp, sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, VIA legally ships to nearly all states of the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. That's the world we live in. So if you're 21 plus, if you're 21 over, check out our link to VIA's website in our description and use the code FATMAN for 15% off. Free shipping on orders over $100. And if you're new to VIA, you get a free gift of your choice, man. Take it away, Mark.
You know, like I am not a smoker of anything really. And so I've always kind of been a little hesitant to dip my toes into a THC life. But I've been busy. I've been looking for some focus on some shit. So I gave Vi a try, and you know what it did? Exactly what was on the fucking label. It helped me zero in, it helped me just dial in, it helped me get some work done. And so, hey, look, you got Zen, flow state. That's the one that I took. I needed to fucking get into a flow state. I need to get that shit.
Elevate.
Yeah,
That's
man.
one. What else we got here, man? Dreams. That's the sleepy time. Cloud 9. Use your imagination there. High love, dude. 5 milligrams of THC gummy right there. Via, they're making fine products, my friends.
Hell yeah. Like unlock the power of nature with Via's organic and vegan hemp extracts, perfect for relaxation and rejuvenation. It's the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products such as each with a specific effect in mind. Whether you want to get better sleep, ease anxiety, enhance your mood, or just get high, they got something for you. So if you're 21 and over, check out the link to Via in our description and use the code FATMAN to receive 15% off. Free shipping on orders over $100. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. And after you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Enhance your everyday with Via.
We thank the good folks at Via for sponsoring this here episode of Fat Man Beyond, kids. What's the address?
Is it up on the screen? There it is. Thanks, Will Wilkins.
Let me see. That address again, kids, is via, VIA.co/fatman. Is it .co or is it .com?
I think it's .com.
It would have to be, right? There is a .co.
It is .co.
There you go.
We did it.
Well, Wilkins, you really took your chastising way too seriously. Pop back up on the screen, goddammit.
No, I didn't take it seriously.
Yes, you did. You haven't popped back once during the whole fucking show, man. Because you've been.
Look,
I got
man.
yelled at. You weren't getting yelled at.
No, nobody's here for me. Nobody, and I am not JC. I don't have a cool mohawk. I don't own a cool bar in a galaxy adjacent away. I don't have any of that. So nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear my thought. And you know what? Here's the thing. If they do want to hear my thoughts, then they can just check out Netheads over at youtube.com/netheadsonair. And you can hear me talk about my experience. But you know,
so smooth.
my feelings aren't hurt. I'm good, man. I'm putting up stuff for you guys. I'm playing Fortnite. I'm a happy guy.
The DILF man himself stepping in for the Banff man. For those who came in late and they're like, hey, where's the Banff man? Well, we can't tell you. But if you follow the show or if you follow his socials or you've been paying attention, you could probably piece it together. So we thank Will for pinch. Is it pinch or pitch hitting?
Pinch
hitting. Sorry, I'm not a sports guy.
For stepping in, for being the person in the order of secession at this time.
Yeah, man, you're the fucking Roman of this bunch for sure. You're quick like him.
Very good. But my feelings unhurt. On to the good stuff.
Sweet. Thank you, sir. All right, we're done with our sponsors for the day, for the evening, and we thank them all. Yeah, kids, just while we got your ears here, would you mind if we got back to a more regular schedule? If we did like a weekly show that was 1 hour as opposed to a monthly or bi-monthly show that's 19 hours a pop? That's gonna be the aim. That's what we're headed toward, kids.
Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Oh, Randall Flagg, hi from France. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Randall.
Okay, Fantastic Four trailer. I watched it on the big screen. Wonderful.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. It's crazy because we've had Fantastic Four movies before, but like this one, of course, feels super special. Number one is directed by our guy,
Our boy Matt Shackman.
And Matt Shackman, who was good enough to come on our show back during WandaVision and shit. Looks fantastic, has that Art Deco quasi-futuristic feel of the 60s and shit. But this is the overall, like, it's the melancholy, the quiet melancholy that I feel when I watch that trailer is, and I don't know this for a fact, but this is just my guesswork. They're on a different alternate Earth, correct? They've made that pretty clear.
It feels like so, but who knows?
That's and that world loves them. And they do seem, like they're everything you would want in a hero in that world, particularly from the age of heroes, almost as written by Stan and Jack, you know what I'm saying, as put together in that classic bullpen era of Marvel. They're not in our universe. They got to come to our universe. And what I keep seeing in the trailer is that somebody comes to their universe. Big guy, hungry guy, devourer of worlds. So when I watch those trailers, like, and again, this ain't spoilers because I don't fucking know. This is just conjecture based on the information that I have, like everybody. Aren't they all fucking doomed? Like those little kids who have the thing mask that lift it up and they're looking up into the sky. I think by the end of that movie, everybody gets fucking killed except for the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to lose their world. I think. Will you have that impression as well?
I do, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm sure both of you have a better opinion on this. But in a thing where you're going to have a Galactus, and you've got this Fantastic Four, my hope is that their flight that got them their powers also sent them to that universe, so that way, when that whole universe gets wiped, you don't feel bad that everyone they love is gone.
But. So wait, what do you think is going to happen to that universe?
Oh, I think at least that planet Earth is going to get eaten by Galactus, and they're going to
100%.
They're going to F off back to our universe where they originated, I hope.
And I don't think they're going to be able to save them. You think they came from our universe?
That's my hope. Is that, from what they call the 616 or whatever the MCU, the sacred timeline, as they call it.
I'd be okay if they weren't from 616. Fair enough. They're just like, but I when I watch that trailer, there's this underpinning poignancy where I'm like, I think this is a doomed world. And the fact that it's so bright and shiny and everyone believes in the future and stuff makes it even more sad that they have to lose that world, right? Like there's no way they just come to ours going, this looks better. Like Galactus shows up. Like they'd be silly not to have him eat that fucking world. They're not going to have him eat ours. They're not going to eat 616. So if that's what's going to happen, it's fucking dope, man. Dope to introduce heroes that who are all like, we'll do it as a family. And we eat here to dinner together all the time. You know, like that fucking bright-eyed, wide-eyed innocence. Heroes of old, not heroes of the modern age, post Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And if that's the case, man, losing an entire world has got to have an effect, right? Turn them like fucking.
I mean, I think there's something super interesting about optimism in the face of apocalypse, right? Like, can you still believe when everything else is gone? You know, and you're now refugees on an earth that's not yours. You know, like, can you still be a family when you've lost everything? And if that's going to be part of that story where, you know, their world gets destroyed, they end up in ours, you know, and our sort of dark, our like not rosy about the future version of Earth, like that's super interesting to me. Yeah, listen, the trailer sold me on the retro in a way that was really kind of intriguing. Still don't know what the movie is because it was not a heavy on action trailer. It was like you just see, you know, some Johnny Storm flying and you see some, you know, fantastic car shit. You know, you see Herbie, which is always nice, and you see the specter of Galactus, but they're purposefully not showing you very much because they're still, you know, 6 months out. But very curious.
John Elrod II in chat said, it's like a utopia that's too good to last. That's what it feels like. When I watched that trailer, I was like, oh, none of these people know that a giant man is going to eat them all. just like in a children's storybook. There's a giant, and he's fee fi fo fumming it, and he's going to eat their whole fucking planet. Mm-hmm. And these heroes that couldn't save their fucking world are going to arrive here and like have a lot to prove. I would imagine, you know, that would be my dumb take on it. But honestly, I was sitting there watching Captain America today, and there were many things where I was like, oh, they're probably going to do this, and they didn't do it. For example, spoilers. Can we go jump back to Captain America real quick?
Sure.
Spoilers, kids, if you haven't seen it, because I'm going to talk about the third act and the you know, Red Hulk and shit. Didn't you feel like the entire movie they were setting it up for Betty to return in the cherry blossoms place where the fight happens? And did it not feel like maybe they did do that, but then reshot because Sam's speech was shot at a completely different time? Like you could just tell it was like they had an angle on him down, you know, kind of meant to be the Hulk's perspective. But that was just kind of down, which you can duplicate, you know, anywhere. You don't have to go back to your set or your green screen or whatnot. And, you know, they had him kind of talk him down on Betty's behalf, by using Betty, invoking his daughter. But did it not feel like maybe at one point it had been Betty and they were like, well, then she's saving Captain America, isn't she?
I mean, the way to make that work is honestly the thing that they did in Justice League, that Zack Snyder did, which is, at least in that movie, when you have like rogue Superman is destroying the fucking Justice League, Batman's big plan is bring me Lois Lane. I'm bringing Lois Lane with me because she's the only person that can defang this particular monster. And so, like, if it's Sam's idea, if Sam's the one who reaches out to Betty and is like, I'm going to need you to help talk your dad down, then it is his save. Like the ingenuity of Sam was, how do I treat this soldier who's experiencing, you know, a violent episode? And so, like, I appreciated the idea that Sam Wilson, trauma specialist who we meet in Winter Soldier as a guy who's leading a support group for veterans who can't reintegrate into the world. And so for that guy to try to solve that problem with a conversation, I was like, all right, I see it. I don't necessarily need more Sam Wilson speeches, but I dig it. But, you know, I also didn't necessarily want to say, you know, hey, big guy, the sun's getting real low. Maybe don't punch up the White House again.
Now, would it have been hack if that was the case? And I mean, look, I guess my tastes are pretty hack, but like, that would have satisfied. I wasn't unsatisfied, but that's what I expected to happen.
Yeah.
And I would not have been unhappy with that. Like, I would have been like, right on, father, daughter, she fucking, yeah. And there is a bit of like, hey, big guy, the sun's getting low to it or whatnot. But they went a different way, or I feel like maybe they shot that and then they were like, yeah, it didn't test well, so we did something else.
Yeah. But I also can't imagine that, you know, you get Liv Tyler for one day and that's how you use Liv Tyler to visit dad in prison. It's like, that feels squishy too. Like, I don't know.
I was happy to see that made me happy because I was like, oh man, like fucking, she was in the movie way at the beginning of all this shit. Same summer as Iron Man, you know?
Yeah. If you're going to use Liv Tyler, I feel like the version you pitched is a better use of Liv Tyler. But yeah, it's weird.
In chat, Jason said Sam's superpower is de-escalation.
Which I guess, but I was also like, there's a moment in the movie where they say that Sam has chosen not to take the super soldier serum. And I was like, hey, are they just willy-nilly with the serum where it's a choice? I always thought it was a super rare thing. But then again, John Walker gets it in the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show. Like, and clearly they've got janky versions of it out there. But like, Sam, if you can be a fucking super soldier, be a fucking super soldier.
Yeah, I don't know why he's like, I should have taken the serum. It's like, yeah, just do it. Take the serum. Like, in a world where you're fighting the fucking Hulk, like, you can't always count on the fucking shield to bounce the right way. Like, if you're gonna face off again, you know, but then there's a school of thought like, hey, Batman doesn't have super soldier serum and he does it.
I suppose, but like as always, money is Batman's superpower. Um, Same thing with Tony Stark. Like, yeah, they don't need super soldier serum. They have money. Money builds you a suit of armor. That's your super soldier serum. And like, yeah, the Wakandans apparently built Sam's fucking new wingsuit, which comes into play like twice. And I also have questions about Wakanda building Captain America a suit. But whatever. Sure.
I don't know. That didn't bum me out at all because I'm like, I don't know. They built Bucky an arm.
They did. They did.
And you know, get this man a shield, you know, got an history with Captain America.
Yeah. They've gotten rather willy-nilly with their very secretive proprietary element, but that's fine.
And that's the thing. It's like I know a lot of people are like, the fucking movie, it wasn't what I wanted it to be, or it was mid or whatever. We're still talking about it.
Still talking about it. Almost longer than the movie ran.
It's a high bar in that Marvel universe, though, man, because they've, you know, done so many kick-ass movies that they can't all be Iron Man. They can't all be Captain America 2, Winter Soldier. They can't all be Endgame or Infinity War. But I still got enough out of this where here we are talking about it.
You're entirely right. I mean,
but I'll be honest with you, there was a part of me that was a little irritated that whenever I have to pay for a movie now, because it's like, man, if I was back home, if I was in Jersey, I'd be watching this shit for free right now in my movie theater.
All right, should we real quick hit SNL 50?
Yes, I enjoyed the fuck out of it, man. It was a good time in terms of like the choices they made, the sketches they picked. You know, there's some things you have to do, like every SNL anniversary special, you have to show the John Belushi "Don't Look Back in Anger" short that Tom Schiller made years ago, where he goes through the imagined deaths of the entire not ready for primetime players cast and stuff. But you know, there was some stuff in terms of the picks, they had to, you know, 50 years in terms of like who you given stage time to and whatnot. One of my absolute fucking favorites was Vanessa Bayer and Fred Armisen doing Lorne Michaels' best friends from childhood. That was always like, I love that bit so much. And they brought that back. I thought it was great that they did the girl, you know, who you don't want to be
Talk to at a party.
Talk to at a party. There was what else did I fucking love? The whole time I was watching it, I was just thinking, my God, how do you pick? But Eddie Murphy playing fucking Tracy Morgan on Black Jeopardy was fantastic. Also, Tracy Morgan in the Scared Straight sketch. Keenan, who like honestly like probably earns the title after Lorne Michaels, Mr. Saturday Night at this point.
Yeah, the longest tenure on that show.
And like such an MVP, can literally make things that aren't funny. Like has gotten so good at Saturday Night Live that he has become an institution in and of himself in the institution.
Yeah. The one thing that I missed was Bill Hader.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there, you know.
Neither was Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but the John Mulaney of it all and the Seth Meyers of it all, and like Stefan as such a big part of what SNL was, at least as I remember it. So to not have a piece of that in the Weekend Update stretch, I think Bill Hader was like, I'm not going. Anxiety issues, I think, was what he said, and he just didn't want to be there and didn't want to revisit it. That's the part that I was like, oh man, I wish we had that. But it was a pretty wonderful, you know, as to your point, how do you choose? but I did appreciate kind of all of the SNL 50 stuff. Like I appreciated the music documentary that Questlove made. I thought was fantastic. Um, all of the sort of little like mini documentaries, the one that they had on Peacock about everybody's auditions, I thought was phenomenal. Getting to see like Amy Poehler's audition, like Pete Davidson's audition, like Tracy Morgan's audition, and having them sort of reflect on what they did right, what right and wrong was phenomenal. Um, yeah, like not that every show is going to be able to celebrate 50 years, but this is about how you should celebrate 50 years.
Lonely One in chat said they focus too much on the last 15, 20 years. I think that's because having watched a couple of these reunion specials now in real time, you know, the previous ones covered that era. So they kind of make up, largely, they devote a lot of time to the era that didn't get covered on the last anniversary special, is the nearest I could fucking figure. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I didn't know it was happening. I for some reason I was not, like, I guess because I was touring, I wasn't paying attention. So I got home on that Saturday, and then Sunday night it was on. That was another thing that fucking threw me. It being on a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Well worth watching, kids.
Have you?
Let's talk about the fucking Super Bowl halftime show. Holy fuck.
Yo.
Fantastic.
I mean, like
that finally, Mark, a dance I can do. I've been enjoying all the TikToks of people going like, you know, suddenly my father, and they show him doing fucking Kendrick's opening steps.
All I gotta do is this. All I gotta do is walk in a circle. I'm here for this. You've been to SNL, right?
I have. I've sat in the audience for SNL.
What episode did you go for? Do you remember?
What have I been there? I mean, an Affleck episode was one of them, and probably both of them, honestly. Those are the only times I think. One time I went. But Ben wasn't the host. I forget, but I have been there. But the last time was it this season opener or the previous season opener? That was Pete Davidson was the host. And I was supposed to go, but we got like trapped in travel, so we didn't wind up making it out. But I mean, you know, I'm not, this is no criticism by any stretch of the imagination. I just prefer to watch the show at home.
That's fair.
That's how I've, you know, that's how I engaged with the show most of my life. Having the opportunity to be there, yeah, it was dope and cool and shit, but like you know, that's a home ritual for me. But it was, you know, nice to watch him hit the mark, ring the bell. I watched the first episode in real time, so it, you know, I've been with the show for a long time. I fell out for 20 years. Like at one point, my kid kind of brought me back in what era? Bill Hader era. She was like watching the show in grade school and high school, and suddenly I was like, you know, what? And she was doing like Stefan and stuff, and I was like, what's that? And then I went back and watched the show. Oh my god! And it's not like I stopped watching the show because I'm like, it started sucking, man. Like I was just making shit. I was off doing shit. Like I stopped watching The Simpsons for decades, and not because I'm like, this show sucks. I was doing my own thing. And then it's lovely because then when you circle back and re-engage with it, you're like, holy shit, I have so much to watch. And 10 years of SNL was a complete fucking discovery for me, where I was like, you know, same with the Simpsons. Simpsons is always weird though. Like when I hadn't watched episodes in a long time, and then I watched an episode where one of them was using an iPad, and I was like,
no,
something's fucked up. All right, what else we got?
That's it, man.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, shit.
Do you have any A's to Q?
Oh, that's a Will thing. Will, you got any?
I've collected some questions.
Nerd Large in chat said Drunk Uncle took a dig at Brave New World. He did. Drunk Uncle was funny. Bobby Moynihan coming back as Drunk Uncle was very fucking funny.
Yeah.
One of my friends, if I could just mention something before
Oh
we go into
shit!
Q&A.
Jim Tomlin just put this in chat. Hold that thought, Will. Hey, how about your boy Brian O'Halloran on the Game Show the Floor? Brian O'Halloran is fucking killing it on the floor, man. Like, big congrats to fucking Bry. That's so huge. I don't here, like I've been liking his posts, but I don't want to reach out to him because I haven't yet, and he's still winning. And I'm very superstitious. So I'm afraid that if I'm like, oh my God, that it'll fucking blow it for him and shit. But how awesome, man.
That's so great.
I've always wanted to be on a game show, man. What a cool fucking thing.
I mean, we gotta get you a pop culture Jeopardy.
Yeah. Ooh, I started watching that, man. Did you the one with the 3 people? Like how they do it like pub quiz?
Oh, yeah.
They do that. That's the one that they do on
with Colin Jost, right?
Yeah, with Colin Jost. Has got like it's not 1 player, it's 3 players per team.
Ooh, see? And to be fair, we were on a game show together.
That's true. That's true. We did.
Where I shot the bed.
We family feuded it. Hey, it's a game show. Nobody shits the bed on a game show.
Unless you shit the bed on a game show.
Yeah, Mark did. Yeah, Brian O'Halloran been wearing a hockey jersey. He's been wearing he's a Rangers guy, but he has to wear a jersey without a Rangers logo on it. Yeah, good break legs, Bri. I hope you make it all the way. I hope you seize all of the floor.
That's how the show works.
Yeah. Not quite sure. Floor is yours. All right, man. What were you gonna say, Will?
On the SNL events over the weekend, the concert that they did on Friday, one of my friends had the funniest take on the Will Ferrell and Anna Gasteyer as the singing teachers again. And she's just like, just imagine Drake is like, man, what a week I've had. Well, at least I can kick back and enjoy some SNL concert.
That was pretty funny too, yeah. So wait, that night, that was on when?
Friday. Nothing was on Saturday.
How strange. So I guess they needed to recover. But what was where did they do the music thing?
That was NBC, like earlier that week. That was like Monday.
But where they didn't do it at SNL.
Oh no, the concert was at Radio City.
So they at one point I saw and I was like, that doesn't look like Studio 8H. So the music thing was at Radio City.
Right. Yeah. There was the Questlove documentary that was just Monday about the music of SNL, which is great. Like if you haven't seen that, that's amazing. And then there was a concert on Friday night at Radio City, and then the big show Sunday at 8H.
I forgot to confirm it, but allegedly at some point on NBC Saturday night, they reran the first episode.
Yeah.
When George was the host.
Yeah. That was Saturday night, the legit Saturday night.
Nothing makes you feel older than watching some of that stuff, though. I was just like, oh, man. And then McCartney comes out and sings, and I instantly connect with how my brothers were, like, so into the Beatles. And it's just like, oh. And then I said, and now if I sneeze, I'll hurt my back. God damn it.
Me and Dave in chat said Lonely Island medley was awesome. It absolutely was.
Yeah. I got to go once. The one time I ever really flexed any EW muscle was to try to get tickets to SNL.
Which one did you go to?
Christopher Walken was the host.
Wow, good one.
Christina Aguilera was the musical guest. And Cowbell was the sketch of the night.
Holy shit, you were there for Cowbell?
I was there for Cowbell.
Wow.
In the house.
Wow, as it happened live.
As it happened live. It was, it was pretty fucking great. Even in the house, when, as you say, that is kind of not the way to actually watch SNL because it's not the TV version of it. But even there, even in the weird Death's Corner, as they called where that sketch was, it fucking slew. Is it the post tense of slayed? It's slayed. It's slew.
Slew.
Fahim
Abs Abraham says, would it be cool to get a shout out from my uncle who's alone in Australia and diagnosed this week with stage 3 prostate cancer? Absolutely. His name is Mark Mako, and a huge fan of Kev's. He introduced me to Mad Mag magazine. Mark, hey man, fuck cancer. So sorry, man, but we're here for you. Um, Rooting for you. I'm a guy whose body tried to kill him once. And fucking, it sucks, man. So hang in there, fight the fight, my friend.
Kicking the box.
We got you. We got you, Mark. Shit. All right, Will. What do you think?
What you got?
Oh, I say just end the whole damn thing now so I can go to bed. But if you want, I do have some questions captured.
Fair enough.
And I like this one because it kind of ties in with the whole food that made America. By the way, please, if you want to absolutely derail Hollywood Babylon, bring that up Saturday night because Ralph will just go equally as off.
Why? He knows it?
Oh, as a fan and connoisseur of the Ralph Report, there were weeks he was talking about it. Anytime you bring it up,
I'm totally gonna bring it up, man.
Oh,
you just gave me fucking 20 minutes on Covina on Saturday.
Boom, gonna rock him. Lord Mooby asks the question.
Okay.
If you were tasked with making a movie about a historical event, but through the lens of a comic book character, what event and what character would you choose?
Mm. Mm. We talked, I used this in Tusk, in Howard Howe's origin story. The Duplessis orphans in Quebec. The government closed down the orphanages and moved all the kids into insane asylums and had them reclassified as patients as a cost-cutting effort. And obviously, as you might imagine, that didn't go well. So a very sad, depressing historical thing. But you introduce the fucking vengeful orphan himself into that situation. Batman, the Batman, and he's got to go fucking save a young Dick Grayson from that type of situation. Oh, that's a badass fucking story right there. Batman beating the shit out of people that fucking beat the shit out of kids. Justice. Justice beats the fucking shit out of a kid herder, man. So that would, it's kind of dark, but I'd go with that.
All right.
I just brought the whole room down like Jesus, Kev, but
I think there's two things that would let me tell the same story with the same hero, but one of them is I remember encountering this story, God, like 10 years ago or so. But part of the story of the origins of hip hop and the origins of rap in America are intimately tied to the disco scene in New York in the sort of mid 1970s, the early to mid 1970s, where the reason why disco exists as we know it, the reason why rap exists as we know it, is because in the gay nightclubs of New York in the mid 70s, there was a law saying that men could not kiss in public. There were decency laws that prevented homosexuality being a thing that was on display, but they could not prevent men from dancing together. And so what would happen at disco clubs is that the DJs figured out that if we can make these songs a bit longer, then we can let them dance for longer. And so they started doing this thing where they would fade from one song to the other song. They would use this crossfader technology. You had two turntables and you just extend the fucking song. And it was expensive technology because it was not a cheap thing. The faders were relatively new. Nightclubs could have it, hi-fi radio shops could have it, record stores and technology and whatever. It wasn't until the blackout of like 1975 in New York and people started to loot, in the way that fucking, people are generally bad when there's an event like that. And they began looting. And one of the things that got stolen quite a bit of were fucking crossfaders. And that's the stuff that gets taken up to the Bronx in the mid 1970s that gets sort of plugged into street poles. And the invention of hip hop comes out of the theft of a bunch of electronics store goods. And the crossfading technology that let you extend the breaks, that let you dance over the musical breaks of songs. I thought that was always an interesting story that like the most popular music in the world was invented out of the desperation and ingenuity of the sort of New York underground gay scene. And then you have the Summer of Sam murders, the Son of Sam, which I always thought was phenomenal. Basically, either of those stories, you can stick Dazzler right into the middle of. And being able to tell a story of a kind of culture on the edge of evolution, of desperation, of music, and then
of indulgence, lots of drugs, lots of coke,
lots of drugs and cokes and good times, Studio 54, all of that shit, and then sticking Dazzler in the middle of it as a kind of touch point and a flash point. And like, who better during a blackout to help give a city its legs back than Dazzler?
That's a good idea right there. I'd read that. Read the fuck out of that.
Yeah, man. Good question.
Love it. Next up.
How about Bob Perlitz? Ask the question.
Bobby.
Oh, we love Bob Perlitz, man.
If you found
Bob
out
Perlitz made beautiful pillows that fucking sold out at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Oh,
a
really?
loyal Smodcastle patron who I'm sure has already bought his ticket for Cop Out, the 15th anniversary screening this Sunday at Smodcastle Cinemas. I'm going to be there. You know who else is going to be there? Tracy Morgan.
Hot damn.
Bring your contraception because you're all getting pregnant. 3 o'clock, Smodcastle Cinemas, Atlantic Islands. Tickets at csmod.com or smodcastlecinemas.com. Back to you, Will.
Bob Perlitz asks.
Yes.
You found out Galactus is coming to our world.
Yes.
What would you do with the 24 hours before he shows up?
I mean, this is going to sound so lame, but I've been hanging out with my family. Like, we're all fucked, right? We can't get off world. And even if we do, where are we going to go? Like, I don't know how to get to the next dimension and shit like that. I'm not a scientist. I'm a fucking entertainer. I'm useless in the face of Galactus. Unless Jay and Silent Bob make Galactus laugh so hard, he opts not to eat our world. But what are the chances of that happening? So probably spend it with my family, sit around, reminisce. I liked the end of that picture. What was it? Don't Look Up. Where they made a really nice dinner and fucking sat around eating and talking and shit like that. That's would seem like the way to go. And then all of a sudden, everything just goes dark because you've been swallowed by a giant fucking celestial being from another world, a world eater and shit like that. Do you think you're conscious of the fact that you're being digested? Like, do you know the exact moment you become shit? I know people are like, I know when you became shit. Fucking Jay Silent Bob reboot, you woke piece of shit, whatever. So I'll spare you the. But do you think you would know when suddenly you were being converted into just energy for this fucking thing to shit out eventually? The ignominy. It's like being eaten by a shark. It's like being eaten by anything. It's like, man, like I had thoughts and feelings and a life, and now you're just turning me into eventual shit. Come on.
Well, it all depends on the digestive process of a matter eater like Galactus. Like, is it like a Sarlacc pit? Like Boba Fett seems to have like been alive for a while at the bottom of a Sarlacc pit.
Well, they told us that you would be devoured slowly over 1,000 years. That gives them plenty of time to get out.
Yeah, there you go. Escape plan from Galactus's anus.
I bet you that's why Boba Fett never sweated that Sarlacc pit. He's like, didn't anybody hear the exposition? It takes 1,000 years. I'm getting out of this, and I'm getting me a Robert Rodriguez show.
I'm going to take a lot of baths.
All right, where are we now? Galactus.
So
That's what I do. Hang with my family. I would go out like the way I lived most of my life, informed by motion pictures and television shows. a half life, a quarter life at best. I would steal from Don't Look Up and just have a big old family meal and shit. I'd invite others. I don't know how many people would fucking come beside my family. They'd probably all want to be with their families and shit.
So you'd sell tickets, maybe? Smart Castle Cinemas, big dinner there.
Ooh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? We made like so much money.
You bribe Galactus.
Yeah, I'm like, making it rain, big guy. Spare me in New Jersey. I'd stand up for the state.
There you go.
What about you?
I think I try and organize a very quick impromptu Hands Across America to see if we can get enough fucking people to give Galactus a hand job, that maybe he'd just kind of let us go. Fucking, you'd need a lot of people getting around the girth of a Galactus, but I think maybe, just maybe, if we can bust a nut in a world eater.
Would a billion tongues on the tip of your giant cock state you, oh great world eater?
Hands Across America. Let's go.
Hands Across America. All right, third and final question.
Okay, sure. Well, look, there may have been better questions earlier. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying this is a bad question, but it's this or nothing at this point. So,
okay,
there we go. I know I'm really so. By the way, Eric Hostelin, I apologize. That was a terrible intro. Thankfully, I can edit this later. If you were Sam Wilson building the new Avengers team, but there's no Thunderbolts, who among the existing MCU heroes would you go to?
one more time.
You're building the new Avengers. Characters in the Thunderbolts aren't in play. Who in the existing group of MCU heroes would you go to?
Okay. Well, Doctor Strange. Do we know that Peter Parker? We know Spider-Man. We just don't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Right.
Spider-Man. Captain America. Thor. Captain Marvel. I'm pulling in DD, man. I know he's street level and shit, but this is my Avengers. Mine. So I'm pulling in Daredevil.
We have a number limit on this, or we just like
it's the Avengers, man.
Well, I think maybe we should put a number limit on it, because then you're just like really going to name almost every character.
I am. Yeah, I was about to name every Marvel hero there is.
Just the rest.
You've ruined my plan. That's my team. What about you? Oh, a lot of people in chat are like, Shulky. You're right. She-Hulk. Fucking, you goddamn right. I put She-Hulk in there.
Okay. I'm doing Groot and Rocket.
Nice.
Ms. Marvel.
Nice.
Vision.
Nice. I
Um,
like your Avengers.
yeah. Shuri.
Ooh, good pull.
And Wong.
Excellent pull.
Oh,
like
no,
Avengers.
not
I'd
Wong.
like to finance your Avengers.
Not Wong. Mordo. Give me Mordo.
Aaron Mordo, the real one, not the one from the alternate universe.
Yeah, give me the real one. Give me Chiwetel Ejiofor. Give me a villain in the middle of the fucking Avengers.
Too many sorcerers.
There's one too many sorcerers. Yeah, that's fun.
There it is, kids. There it is. We geeked out.
Did.
Film Gamer X says Squirrel Girl, but they haven't introduced her yet, have they?
No.
There's talk of her coming in. We're gonna get a Vision thing, man.
I know. They're I believe they are in the UK right now in production on Le Vision.
I'm here for it. Leon Martin says, what about Marvel Jesus Deadpool? Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's fucking useful. He's also funny. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
X-23.
Evan Fowler says, I would bring in Adam Warlock, but he'd have to spend some time in the soul dimension or something because he needs a personality that isn't just doofus.
Okay.
Iron Tiger says, Bill Murray. As one of the Avengers. And Bill Murray. Bill Murray was funny on the SNL doing his old chart gag.
Yeah. Colin Quinn.
Yes. And he's like, at number one, my brother, Brian Doyle Murray. I thought that was excellent.
Who's also had lots of sex with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, kids, we learned a lot. But my God, we've been going for a long time, almost 3 hours. This problem with this show. That's why we don't get those massive hits on fucking YouTube, man, because the show's like 96 hours. I'm sure Joe Rogan suffers from the same problem.
He does indeed. We need to not last as long.
We're gonna start doing the show on a regular basis, a weekly basis, tight hour, tight.
You remember when we used to do it and it was like half an hour long?
Having those days, man. It's too much news. You know what? That's the difference between then and now.
Yeah.
Fucking, we're drowning in goddamn news. Kids, you have a good time? Well, fuck. I know I did. Thanks for hanging out with me and Mark here on Fat Man Beyond. Again, if you're in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area on Saturday, not that one, the other one. If you're in the Los Angeles area on Saturday, Los Angeles, Multicon, Los Angeles.
Oh, I know. Everything just froze up. Look, Via's back.
The Multicon, there it is, kids. Multicon is happening. Come on out, support the con. All the proceeds are going to folks who were affected by the most recent fires out here. Tickets at csmod.com. I'll see you at Multicon on Saturday. But if you're like, hey, man, can't get to Los Angeles. I live on the East Coast. You know, where you came from. What about us, you fucking traitor? Well, I'll be back there on fucking Sunday. I'm getting on a plane Sunday morning. I'll be there Sunday afternoon, and I'm going right to the theater, and we're going to show Cop Out, 15th anniversary, man. And Tracy Morgan's going to be there. It's going to be a good-ass time. If you have not seen a movie at Mountcastle Cinemas, what are you waiting for? No better time than to do it when you could fucking see Tracy Morgan laugh along with Tracy in a room and shit like that as we watch the movie together. Tickets at csmod.com or smodcastlecinemas.com. Mark, what do you got to sell them? Anything?
Not very much at the moment. But yes, this year is going to be rife with shit people can buy that has my name on it. So just stay tuned, y'all. It's a coming.
Laura D says you're still forgetting there are flyover states. I live here in California, and I have a movie theater there in New Jersey. I don't have any holdings across the country that I could just go to. But you know, yeah, believe me, I'd like to go everywhere. I wish I had my own movie theater everywhere. I don't. Lucky I got one at all. Fuck. Come see me though. I mean, look, you don't want me going where you are. You want to go to New Jersey because then you can see Smodcastle Cinemas. You can see Tracy Morgan for yourself. You can see like it's like a big ass museum. So you can see all the posters and shit. Then you go to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, in business, brick and mortar for 28 fucking years as a comic book store. And see that as well. Plus, you can see all the locations where we made Clerks and all those fucking pictures. Oh my God, what are you waiting for? Book right now. Look at that poster. Tracy Morgan in a Kevin Smith joint. Cop Out, the 15th anniversary screening this Sunday, kids.
Go.
There it is, my friends. There it is. I hope you've had a good time sitting around talking about the culture that fucking pops, man. Pop culture. Good times. I've been watching a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle lately. A lot of it. And I'll tell you, Carol, who runs my life financially, was like, you need to stop. She sees all the bills and shit like that. So she was like, stop buying. Look at this.
Oh, Kevin.
Don't
Oh,
don't Kevin me, Mark. It's beautiful. All I want to hear is Kevin. It is fantastic. Look at all that wonderful Bullwinkle memorabilia. This is like a lot of childhood shit. Do you remember this thing, man? That cassette movie projector?
amazing. The shit that they got money from us for.
The Weebles Treehouse.
Yeah, had one of those. Remember that?
Bat Cave. The
Jersey Red Baron.
Amigo Bat Cave. Yeah, those, you know what these are? These are boxing gloves. Can you see those? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That, well, let me go this way because that's my grandfather was a boxer. Kid Dixie Schultz, his name was. And he's got a record, man. But anyway, my mom just gave me his old boxing gloves. So I got little boxing glove frames to put them in. And it's so weird because I'm not a fighty person by any stretch of the imagination. But my whole life was shaped by a boxer that I barely knew.
I mean, I'm a little now sad that you're just not Daredevil.
I never put that together. You know, I never fucking put that together. Oh my God. I'm going to put those gloves right next to my Daredevil statue. And I'm not even going to tell people about my grandfather. I'm going to be like, that's a prop from the movie. I got them from Ben Affleck and shit.
Give me 10 grand. I'll give you these right now.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't wait to tell my mother. Remember grandpa's gloves, your father's boxing gloves? I sold them for 10 grand. I said they were Ben Affleck's. Dumb kings.
He used to call his right hook Phantom. He's the bomb.
He was a southpaw, my grandfather, they tell me.
Oh, nice. But you're not. Are you? You're not lefty.
No.
Yeah.
Barely a righty. I can't fight at all.
I'm a typey.
That's it. I fight with words. How dare you, sir?
Pronouns and adjectives at dawn.
Yes. I fight with sarcasm. Kids, did you have a good time? Well, that's because of the dude over there. Give it up for Marvelous Mark Bernardin.
Oh, thank you, sir.
For our pinch hitter, man, Dilf man himself came in because Banff man he's off living that life. You know what he's doing? He's pretending like Galactus is going to eat the fucking, world in 24 hours. JC's making strong choices. He don't need to be here for this. Where he is, way better episode happened.
Indeed. Where he's going, he doesn't need roads.
Lonely one in chat said, did Kev talk about the Super Bowl commercial they did? A little bit. I talked about it, but it's not much to tell. That was the first time Ben Affleck ever directed me. It's been vice versa for 30 years. He said that on set. He's like, now you're going to learn. You're going to learn what it's like to work with a real director. He's adorable. Hey, kids. Kisai Sakura said, dear Kevin, how do you type with the boxing gloves on? I'm a real Hunt Peck kind of guy.
Very jabby.
What happens is after a while, I fucking call Jen. I'm like, cut me. And then she cuts me.
Computer?
Oh my God. What a great reference. Computer? How quaint. Kids, a little bit of Star Trek for classic Trek movies.
Indeed.
Thank you for hanging out. In the words of Pogo, Walt Kelly's Pogo, we have met the enemy and he is us.
Damn.
Walt Kelly went hard and deep, bro. He was very satirical, as was Jay Ward. As I said, I've been watching a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle. They went after the government constantly. Everybody. They do one episode run where fucking Bullwinkle comes out of seeing a Marlon Brando movie, and he's mocking it. He's just like, that ain't acting. The guy's like, go, oh, Stella, Stella. And through a series of mishaps, like he realizes he has to go to Hollywood and shit like that. It is, they got some edge to that by Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Jay Ward did, and of course Walt Kelly did with Pogo. Did you ever see the Pogo? They did like a claymation movie years ago. I Go Pogo.
No.
It's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, really, really great. I think Will Vinton did it. Remember that guy would do?
Oh yeah.
I think he's involved. Was involved.
Oh.
Anyway. Thanks for hanging out with us, kids. Every once in a while, some doing this is good for the soul. Nice to distract ourselves from a very chaotic world and talk about things that don't matter. Talking about a brave new world
that is neither brave nor new.
What a little bitch! Right up to the end, just like, oh, is the show ending? Hold on, I want to make one more jab.
With my old timey boxing gloves.
We ain't ever gonna get jobs at Marvel. You keep talking honest like that. Fuck.
I know. Oh well, I wasn't honest.
I was. My bar is low. Somebody made fun of me when I did the Criterion Closet.
Mm.
And somebody was like, I was in there for 40 minutes and I picked out 60, 70 movies. And they only did 5. But one dude was like, of course he chose, what was the movie? Bull Durham. His tastes are so mediocre and shit like that. I was like, really? Bull Durham is like so well known that it's mid? No, clearly no. But I'll be honest with you, my bar is very low. It doesn't take much to satisfy me. I was like, the leaders in this.
There was one of the Criterion Closets that had Malcolm Washington and John David Washington promoting the August Wilson movie that they made. And like Malcolm Washington, who directed the movie, is like, well, this is one of my favorite Kurosawa movies, like high and low. Like, it's like John David's like, oh, Jackie Chan.
That's a good one. Well, there it is, man. Kids, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us, making us feel like we're relevant. A couple middle-aged old men. Just you make us feel young. You make us feel brand new. Who is that? Who sang that song? I sing this song for you.
I remember though. Is it like fuck was that?
My love. My love. We should really just open up the Shazam app.
That'd be too easy though.
What I do is I just wait for chat to catch up because somebody in chat's going to be like, oh, but chat runs, a little behind us.
Right.
Was
like,
that the stylistics?
The stylistics. I think you're right.
Nice.
I think you're right.
Somebody.
Yes. Chaz was the first one to hit it in chat.
Now
said stylistic, and then Iron Tiger said the stylistics, and
now I feel bad for him. They typed it, and then I jump in, and I'm like, "Is that the stylistics?"
Hey, I asked. You get to play. Don't fucking.
Everybody gets credit.
Yourself. Yeah. Don't you took that fucking hey get off camera too hard. You get to play.
Okay.
You're allowed. Sometimes that's your moment right there. That was your fucking big old moment to come in and be like the stylistics. That's your third act, like redemption arc right there. People like, oh, fucking that's what Tough Man's meant to do.
He knew. He knew. You Mr. Miyagi'd us right there, man.
That's right. Kids, you make us feel brand new. Lord Movie saying 3 more hours. 3 more hours.
You'll have to come to Smart Castle Cinemas when Kevin and I roll for an entire night watching a series.
I'm down like a clown for that. Is that what you'd rather do than if that's the Ides of Mark, man? That'd be wild.
Wouldn't it though?
The market's just 24 hours in that movie theater, man.
Just rolling hard.
I like it. I like it. Especially like the idea of being hard in a movie theater.
Oh,
very erotic.
Hell yeah. We just watched lots of
very 9.5 weeks, which I guess I should have said very, 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm an old man.
No, we're gonna watch like Last American Virgin. We're about to a bunch of like sad teenage sex movies.
Oh, I'm into that. The ones that are real downers and shit, where it's just like, oh, that's too real. Everyone's saying that Anthony Bell is saying Kevin said goodbye 6 times already. Morris Valentine says the ending's longer than Return of the King.
Yeah.
Anthony Bell said Kev blew our mind this time. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? Whoa, 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 whoa. Also covered by New Kids on the Block.
Jesus.
If I remember.
We have to go now.
We do. All right, there it is. Kids, you have a good ass night, man. Don't forget. Fun stories that didn't really happen are always preferable to real life.
Hell yeah.
For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Mark Bernard.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channels, podcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's Kiss. Mwah.
Bye bye.
This is. Welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything.
Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith.